Jay Johnson behind the glass, holding it down with us until 2 p.m. We got what you need as we talk Kings Pistons, as we try to avoid, as Carmichael Dave calls it, the Wolody. Okay, and I'm not even going to talk about that, Chris, because it's not going to happen. No Cade Cunningham, no Isaiah Stewart, no Monty Morris. Okay, so that. Besides that, I don't even know. Jaden Ivey is the only guy I can name for you on the team right now. Besides Bagley,
come on, James Wiseman.
And James Wiseman.
I know you're a big Wiseman guy. Come on,
Wiseman had a nice dunk against the Warriors when he played his old team. They did proceed to lose, right? But after that, it is what it is. So I'm not even entertaining that. Okay, I'm more concerned about, can you get this back to back? Can you take care of business tonight and tomorrow night? Because in the history of back-to-backs, I don't know that there will be an easier
there can't be
back-to-back.
There literally cannot be.
Because Gordon Hayward, still out. LaMelo's still out when they face the Hornets tomorrow night. But I get it. Can't overlook anybody.
Sure.
I don't care. Yes, you can.
Let's see here. I'm trying to combine the records here. We have an 11-59 record here in this back-to-back.
But out of that 11, one is against the Kings.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong on that.
I'm much more worried about the Hornets tomorrow night.
I'm more worried about tonight. So that's great. We can split.
Chris, there's no Cade Cunningham.
Sure. There was no LaMelo Ball against the Hornets either.
Terry Rozier would easily start on the Pistons.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. I mean, he would be like the best player who's not named Cade Cunningham and Bojan.
And we're gonna have on you do have Bogdanovich. We're gonna have on Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops, host of the Pistons Pulse podcast, at 1 p.m. And I'm just gonna ask him as respectfully as possible who is playing tonight. Yeah. Right.
Besides, gonna see a lot of Isaiah Livers for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
It's not going to be great.
Great. So Kings better take care of business. Unfortunately, I've been pushing this. Hallie's coming home. Tyrese Halliburton. He went down with a hamstring injury, will be reevaluated in 2 weeks, which means he will not be coming home. No. He will not be playing against the Kings. I'm really bummed about that.
I know you are.
You've been
cooking this up for like a month and a half now.
I'm really, really upset about that. He's not the only one that goes down. This one is even worse.
Crazy.
Ja Morant out for season, needs labrum surgery to his shoulder. Happened during a practice because they did not play. So Ja Morant now out for the season.
Crazy.
As the Grizzlies, they started out really hot, cooled off a bit. Kings got a really nice win off of them New Year's Eve. Then he goes down and they go down. And now, Chris, you start to think, okay, could they try? I know they're not the Warriors. They didn't have a championship already. But if you're the Grizzlies, I know you don't want to get anybody injured, but they are one of the youngest teams. They are the top 10 youngest teams in the league. I think their average age is 25 point whatever.
Sure.
You go ahead and you finesse this in a way to where you got a ball bouncing in that lottery and you can really do some things or trade it.
Yeah.
Or trade it. Now you can say, hey, guys, I know we don't want to tank. Right. But we're not doing anything. The West is a mess. We're not winning without Ja. Okay, I don't want anybody to feel like now I would, just like we talked about with the Kings, drop those prices down, drop those ticket prices down, be respectful to your fan base, and go ahead. And I think everybody would kind of unspokenly know, hey, let's do what we got to do and put ourselves in a real position to get another piece, whether that be via the draft or whether that be trading that draft capital for somebody. So I would not be surprised if they go in that direction. Another casualty from the NFL season, Mike Vrabel, which is a bit surprising to me. That just dropped today. So they waited an extra day to let go of Mike Vrabel of the Tennessee Titans. He is now gone. I never really understood what the Titans were doing. I had no clue. Honestly, they missed their window. When Derrick Henry was King Henry and he was just unstoppable, and you had that team playing the best ball of their life. They missed their window. What would you say, that 3 years ago, maybe?
It was about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. I mean, they were the 1 seed in the AFC for a year. And, Vrabel, I think, has been a fantastic coach. I mean, to have that Tennessee situation work out with Ryan Tannehill as your
right, and he was playing pretty good
Come
ball.
On. Like, I mean, I think Vrabel's he's going to be the most sought after head coach. I'd be shocked if he doesn't end up in New England. That feels like the most obvious spot for him. He obviously played for the Patriots, and with Bill Belichick's future kind of in limbo, feels like a good opportunity for them to kind of split ways and have Vrabel, who's an established coach, a coach with success, who knows that quote unquote Patriot way.
Right.
He can just continue try to continue what Bill Belichick has already built there. So I definitely think Vrabel is somebody who's going to be, he's not going to be around in the coaching pool in the coaching circuit for a while. Something tells me he's going to get snatched up pretty quick. But yeah, I definitely think he's done a great job with that Tennessee situation. But yeah, they outlived what was there. I mean, I'm shocked that it was really up until this year. I guess last year a bit they started to show some cracks that they've been able to play as well as they have.
And now you have somebody. If you're moving on from Vrabel, I would assume Derrick Henry. Well, he essentially said goodbye.
Yeah.
Right. So he's out of there. Whatever, I believe he's in his 30s. I think he's early 30s. So very early 30s. So whatever he has, how running backs are.
Yeah.
I think he's to the point now. Honestly.
Oh, he's ring chasing for sure.
Not to start out the rumor mill too hot here, but honestly, if they could afford it, I think what we've learned from the Cowboys this past year is that as good as Tony Pollard is, and as much as the whole overused term of, oh, well, this guy isn't big enough to be an everyday back.
Yeah.
You need that lightning and thunder situation. And they felt like, Zeke was kind of washed and Tony can be that number one guy. I think this season showed us that Tony probably can't be.
Sure.
And that's not disrespectful. That's just, if you can get a Derrick Henry on the back end of his career and really have some lightning and thunder, I wouldn't be, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, that's what I'm looking at, because that would just make Tony Pollard that much better.
Sure, right. I mean, I think Tony Pollard thrived in that role last year where he was that change of pace back. And yeah, this year was terrible. He was probably the most disappointing player in the NFL.
And he wasn't even catching, he was running routes last season.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah, no, he did a little bit of everything for them last year. And, I could imagine a late career Derrick Henry playing a lot like Zeke Elliott did last year. I mean, they pretty much are the same back where, Zeke always had that what they say about him. If you need 3 yards, he can get you 3 yards. If you need 5 yards, he can get you 3 yards every single time. And that's kind of what I could see a late career Derrick Henry being, where it's just like the dude is big enough to just kind of fall forward every single play and keep the thing going. I actually kind of, when I saw Derrick Henry post his farewell the other day, I don't know why my mind went here, but I was like, dude, if I'm Baltimore, that's where I'm looking. Because you pair him with Lamar, and that's just, man, you could run just option plays all day.
No, that's a good point.
You're just running with those dudes, and then you got Zay Flowers on the outside. I mean, that's where I would look. I mean, again, I think that Derrick Henry, he's shown not only his pro career, but I'm sure you've seen those high school numbers of Derrick Henry, where it's every year he's rushing for like 4,000 yards in high school with 25 touchdowns or something stupid like that. He has had one of the best football careers of anybody in who's ever played the game. And I definitely think he's kind of at that late NBA stage where, I think he should ring chase, look for the best possible situation where, you'll be featured. But I don't know if at this point, I mean, there was whispers that in Tennessee, they really like Tajay Spears almost as much as they like Derrick Henry this year. It feels like he's kind of at the point where I don't know if he's going to be a bell cow back anymore. It feels like he's kind of the last of the Mohicans, if you will, when it comes to just being a 25 carry back per game.
Yeah, and I guess
even he doesn't do that anymore.
Right, you're just not supposed to. And I guess there's Saquon, and I guess there's Christian McCaffrey, but the idea of we are a run first, even when you're run first, I mean, that's Niner fans getting upset that you're using Christian McCaffrey too much. Hey, but let's mix it up here and get some other guys in. Yeah, I like the Ravens. It feels like, I don't know, man. They have powered through a lot. I don't want to see. It's just seems like some bad luck with their running back.
Oh, so for sure. I mean, J.K. Dobbins can't.
J.K. Dobbins cannot stay on the field.
He's played like 5.
I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want Derrick Henry messing with that. But if they get the Super Bowl, it might be a perfect kind of. Even if they don't get the Super Bowl, hey, this is what we need to elevate. If they do get it, this is what we need to keep that train rolling. Because Lamar, honestly, is running less and less each season. So I think that's a great call there. We also have the national championship to talk about. Got a minute here before the break. But, yeah, one thing I want to get into once we get back from the break is, so Michael Penix was the talk of the town last week. He takes down the Texas Longhorns.
Right. 400 yards passing.
And he's balling and he's flying up draft. I don't know if any actual draft boards, but some people that you do see on the 4-letter network and saying, man, he's being slept on. He's being slept on. So that happens last week. Then this week comes and he underperformed. Okay, I think that a lot of calls went Michigan's way. It was basically a Michigan home game just because that of Michigan. By the way, when did Michigan become – is Michigan a slept-on random team that people just like? Because it's coming out of the woodwork. Like the amount of people that were saying go blue and are fans of Michigan. I've seen some people in Sacramento, right, on social media. I'm not going to name names. I just want to know, is it because of the Fab Four? What is it because of? Because y'all ain't never been to Michigan.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I honestly have no idea.
Harbaugh,
it could just be
Niners?
It's a big brand. I mean, they back in the day, in the early 2000s, like they would, it was one of the games that was on local networks was the Michigan versus Ohio State game, the big game every year. They've got the biggest stadium, so they can fit the biggest fans. I would assume that it's just always kind of been one of the bigger programs in the country. I mean, it was
just everywhere.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't expect to see it out here in Sacramento, but it doesn't surprise me that I think Michigan is a pretty big brand. It's just kind of crazy. They just haven't really had success. I mean, that was their first national title since 97. And again, I think I talked about it yesterday. For my whole life, Michigan's been a good team. I mean, they've had some ups and downs, but they've never really been at the top of the mountain like they are now. So it's, I don't know. I mean, it could just be they've literally just kind of been waiting for their moment.
Yeah. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, breaking down the national championship, we will also talk about Tyrese Halliburton and Ja Morant. Chris Beerman at 11. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
p.m. We will be joined by Chris Beerman at 11. We will also be joined by Bryce Simon of Motor City Sports and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast at 1 p.m. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Chris brought it up last week. Okay, actually, Chris didn't bring it up. It got brought up from a text.
Yes.
And by the way, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. The Folsom Lake text line. Somebody brought up the fact that Keegan was untouchable. And Chris said, well, if you guys want someone good and we already know that the appetite for Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes is not what you'd like it to be. There's another name that has to get brought up. And apparently there are reports that this name did get brought up in conversations, and the Kings decided to say no. And that name is the Monk Yard Dog, Malik Monk. And he is in a great situation to be traded. He's expiring, but the team can extend him. He hasn't been doing all this talking. He's just in a different situation than Pascal Siakam, where Pascal Siakam has reportedly also said that it's also been reported that he specifically said, hey, Sacramento, I won't be re-signing with you. I don't know if that means that I'm not going to re-sign with you, I'm going to test free agency, or it doesn't make a difference. I'm not re-signing with you. So your options are a bit limited. We do the roundtable. We'll do it again tomorrow. We do the roundtable with our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. And the idea of not making a huge move is looking more and more like the thing to do. Because if you're Sacramento and you don't want to give up anybody, right? Because Malik Monk would be that odd man out, unfortunately. Okay? It's either Keegan or Malik. Okay? Or unless
tons of picks.
Or tons of picks, or a name that you may or may not have.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just to make a call.
I don't know what you're talking
just
about.
To make a call. And no, we're not talking about De'Aaron Fox, of course. But there are names that have been thrown around. And if you're going to say, hey, guys, all these four, right, the core four, if you want to call it that, are untouchable, then what are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saying it sounds like fantasy football is how everyone wants to do these Kings trades right now is, hey, I'm not liking what I'm getting out of Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter. Can I get your best player for the players that I don't really like? It's just not how it works. And, frankly, I do think that maybe the pendulum has swung a little bit too far when it comes to Kings or people who are putting Kings players in trades. It does feel like there's a little bit too much devaluing going on because people might be a little bit too close to the situation. Like, I hear people saying Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter for, your non-star, I haven't heard this specifically, but let's just say Alex Caruso. Like people are saying that these two players are pretty much just useless. And I think people are forgetting.
People are saying like that wouldn't work.
Yeah. Like I mean,
not enough.
It's just like, guys, we can't forget here. Kevin Huerter is somebody who before this year had 3 seasons in Atlanta where he consistently scored 12 points a game, shot near 37, 38, up to 40% last year in Sacramento. He averaged 15 points a game last year in Sacramento. He's just having a bad season. Harrison Barnes is someone who's been consistent. Like he's got a role just because it's not, he doesn't have the value of anyone, like a Zach LaVine or a Pascal Siakam, but he still has some real value to teams out there. So I just caution everyone who's throwing out, it has to be Barnes, has to be Huerter, and it has to be Davion Mitchell. We might even need to throw in picks there. I would just caution that might not be the case because, again, like if you look at just the trade that Toronto made the other day for OG was someone who it was talked about 2 first-round picks, all this stuff. And then they give up Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, who are 2 really solid, good players who will be in your starting lineup and give you a solid role, but no picks. And so I think you could do a Harrison Barnes and, let's throw Malik Monk in there. And you could probably get a deal for somebody who's at the level that you're looking for, and you wouldn't have to give up picks. And that was honestly more of what I was trying to say the other day when we brought up Malik Monk is, hey, if you really want a big sweetener for somebody and you're so afraid of giving up picks and you're so afraid of giving up the future, well, Malik is in theory a guy that, you're going to have to pay in the off season. And, if you want to turn a deal, pretty quickly and not give up picks, I think that's a really quick way of boosting some value.
Yeah. I'm of the mindset that I would give up picks. If you think you're going to be good, right, I would rather keep Malik than give up picks, but I'm also not an NBA
He's
GM.
Pretty important to this team also.
It is really not even a close conversation for me, but it depends on how they value and what they think they can get back. They have to think about the future, but you saw how that has happened or what that has done for other teams as well. So, we'll continue to break all that stuff down. Chris Beerman at 11. getting back to the national championship, it went from Michael Penix being the talk of the town. And wow, I mean, maybe, this is the first time I think a lot of people are going to see him. We call it Pac-12 after dark, right? Yeah. He's playing Texas. And, I would assume there are a lot more Texas fans in there than Washington. He balls out. Texas just wasn't ready. And he's flying up draft boards. Then last night happens. He doesn't play well. Okay. He's missing throws that he shouldn't have missed. Okay, I think that Michigan got some calls, but it is what it is. They had opportunities. They didn't take it. I mean, Harbaugh for majority of the game was just saying, we're just going to run it 3 times and punt it.
Yep.
And we just don't – if you score, you score, which was extremely bold, but Washington could not get – it almost said more about J.J. McCarthy, to be completely honest with you, because it was, hey, don't mess anything up.
Right.
Just run
That's
the football.
Game managing right there.
That is game managing.
Right.
If they score – we will change our tone, right. Okay? We will act accordingly. But
I think Michigan also knew they just had much better athletes, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed them in the trenches, which is why they weren't afraid to just run the ball 3 times and live with the results. But, there was also some times out there in the open field, and especially in that first quarter, I really think it showed. It was just like Michigan is – I mean, the backs are way faster than anyone else that Washington has. And, yeah, I mean, in the trenches, those dudes they got tons of 5-stars, and bless Washington. I mean, they've done the most that they can, but, UW isn't getting a handful of 5-star recruits their way.
And defensively, a lot of those balls that were thrown well by Penix are maybe not perfect and are probably caught in the Pac-12. Michigan is batting,
right.
It's in his hands, and Michigan is ripping them out.
Right.
So I thought it was a good game. I was happy that it didn't end up being a blowout, but it's crazy to see somebody like Michael Penix Jr. and his stock rise and fall within 2 weeks. Meanwhile, basically all of his other competition in this coming draft, besides J.J. McCarthy, are sitting on their butts watching at home.
Sure.
And it's almost the exposure giveth, the exposure taketh away. I saw somebody say, what's crazy is that if Washington ended up blowing that game to Texas, Michael Penix would be going in the first round.
That's a fact. Like, that's absolutely a fact, because after the game he had, like, if that's the last time you're seeing Michael Penix, if that's your last impression of him, you're going to say, wow, I mean, this dude put it up against Texas. Texas is one of the best teams, maybe the best team in the nation. And for him to do that, he I mean, I saw it. He went from, people talking about the Raiders taking him in the second round to, okay, this dude might be a late first round pick. Like, there's some teams out there that need quarterbacks, and it makes a lot of sense for you to take a guy like that. And now, I mean, I haven't checked the draft boards this morning, but just from the conversation around Penix, I mean, it doesn't feel like there's really much any of steam behind him anymore. And if I had to guess, he's probably going to he might fall into that Lamar zone where, if you remember, Lamar almost fell out of the first round, and then the Ravens traded back to 32 to get him. Maybe that's kind of his best hope now, but it just, I mean, who knows? Maybe around draft time, you never know. Weird things happen, pro days and people throw in the best balls you ever seen in your life, and, all that stuff, and his measurables. Those things will all come into hand. But right now, it definitely feels like he did himself worse not by playing yesterday.
It's weird.
He was always
and he got
play,
injured.
But it just felt like yesterday, for whatever reason, killed all the momentum that the first game of the playoff gave him.
Yeah, we'll continue to have this conversation and just how much it matters and how much college to pros makes a difference in terms of the success. Because there's a guy on the Kings who got drafted because of what he did in their version of the playoffs in March Madness. And it hasn't really worked out the way I think the Kings thought it would. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings begin their 5-game road trip tonight in Detroit.
Malik drives and hooks the pass. Sabonis hammers it home. Kings regain the lead.
It's the Kings and Pistons today at 4 on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 25 years, or FolsomLakeKia.com.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back.
PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your ticket for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Progressive knows we're all trying to save right now.
Hey, at least we're still enjoying baseball on a Saturday night, right? Even if it is T-ball. Yeah, but tickets to the majors are just so expensive now. And who knows, maybe we're seeing a pro in the making.
Sure, in like 20 years. How is he safe? Boo! This ump stinks!
The ump is only 14. We don't really do that.
Oh, my bad. You're doing a great job, ump.
Progressive offers you savings without sacrifice, so save big when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit. Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Welcome the new year with EB Stone, your go-to for indoor gardening success. In 2024, enrich your indoor oasis with EB Stone's Indoor Potting Mix, our best premium blend crafted for vibrant growth. Explore our comprehensive range from soil amendments to fertilizers and find everything your indoor garden craves. Nurture new beginnings, cultivate lush landscapes, and witness your dreams unfold. Cheers to a green and thriving new year with EB Stone, the heartbeat of your indoor garden success. Find a location near you for our products and tips at ebstone.org.
local.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Chris Beerman of the Candlestick Chronicles in the Sacramento Bee at 11 to talk Niners and talk Kings as well. We'll have to check if he is going. I think I talked to Jason Anderson, and Chris will be in Philly. So I'll give him some cheesesteak spots.
Ooh.
But I think that Jason will be – I think Jason is gone now. And then they're going to
gotcha. Like
flip-flop.
he's doing Detroit, Charlotte, and then
Exactly. So we'll check in with Chris to confirm where he will be, because he might have the tougher games, right? Because you got to go to Milwaukee, you got to go to Philly. So we'll talk to Chris at 11 as we continue the conversation about the transition from college and college success, how that kind of speaks to success in the pros. And the person I was talking about, one of Chris's favorite players on the team, Davion Mitchell. Because Davion Mitchell, going into that season, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, was Davion Mitchell projected as a lottery guy before the NCAA tournament?
No. Before the tournament, not lottery.
Or
probably
before the
not.
season started?
Before the season, definitely not. No, he was a transfer. I think he went to Auburn for 2 years and then transferred to Baylor, if I'm not mistaken. He was someone who was on radars, but like he was not somebody who was definite top 10 pick, or he was maybe fringe lottery, but he's also a smaller guard. Like he's a guy who's 6 foot maybe, and so I wouldn't have guessed that he'd be on a lot of radars. And frankly, I mean, even when he was drafted, it wasn't like, whoa, this dude put up some Trae Young gaudy kind of numbers. It was just he's a really good team fit system player, and you could understand how you could just kind of fit him in and not worry about it. He won't be a star, but he's somebody who, you can put in and not really have to worry about.
Yeah, and then we know how the story goes. Baylor goes all the way. He balls out, hitting threes, right?
He shot 40% from three in college last year.
3-and-D guy, but was your point guard and could hit the three ball and flies up draft boards, and the Kings decide to take him. You get him into the building, and what's weird is that you could make the argument that he didn't really freeze, right? Or it's not that he didn't live up to his expectations. I don't know if anybody, including the Kings, knew what the expectations were. I think it was just a hot pick, and they decided to take a swing. And it's hard to call it a miss because he's still in the NBA, where there are guys that got drafted higher that aren't, but it definitely wasn't a hit.
It definitely wasn't a hit, and you're right. Like, it's not that he didn't live up. I wouldn't say. I guess he didn't live up to expectations. Defensively, he lived up to the billing, like almost every single bit of it. Like, we were promised this is going to be a dude who just hounds people on ball, and he's a monster. You can't get around him. He's got good hip movement, so he can keep in front of guys, and he's really strong, got a strong base, so you're not going to be able to push him around. All that is kind of even still true. Like, I think even in the playoffs last year, we saw Davion's capable of sticking in front of possibly the greatest offensive weapon we've seen this generation in Steph Curry. So, and he didn't stop him, but he stayed in front of him. So I think that part he's lived up to. It's the offense, frankly, that's let him down. And even then, there were signs of it in college. Like I said, he shot 40% at Baylor, but if you look at his 2 seasons before that, it was 34%, 35% from three. And you were kind of banking on the progression. You were like, okay, clearly he's getting better year by year. He just hit 40% last year. That tells me his shot's getting better. And that's the thing that kind of let him down. The defense lived up to what we were promised, but the offensive numbers are just terrible, frankly. I mean, you look at his numbers now, he's under 40% from the field. I believe he's definitely under 40% from three. It's just, it hasn't lived up. And that's the part that's, with Davion, I mean, if he could have a consistent corner jumper or a corner three that he can knock down 42% of the time, I really think he would be in the rotation now. But I think the offense is really the thing that's let him down in his career. And I still think that there's something there. It's just, it hasn't really worked out with this Kings team.
No. And, the thing is, relatively speaking, you can make it further than maybe people thought. So Davion was already probably on boards, and then he moves up because they ball out. I look at somebody like Marquise Noel, right? He did not get drafted. He signed a deal.
The Kansas State guard you're talking about.
Kansas State guard.
The tiny.
He probably was never going to get signed if he doesn't do what he did.
Right, in the tournament.
So it can help, but it can also hurt you as well from both perspectives. If you're Michael Penix, like last night, or if you're a team who gets caught up in somebody having a hot tournament, and now the difference is somebody signing Marquise Noel to a free agent deal. Hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It was a great story. He gets to say he got signed. Great. If you decide that hot start or that hot tournament, you're now going to take a lottery pick on a guy.
Number 9.
That is when he wasn't originally. I just think when you look at how seasons go in college, not to say I'm not a GM or anything like that, you have to be very careful as to how much you get swayed based on how somebody plays. A lot of it isn't the game, and a lot of it is your ceiling and what people project you to be. So it's as much as I feel like Michael Penix probably did himself a disservice last night, even though he did himself a service a week ago, you'd make the argument it honestly probably evened out. And I'm probably guessing a lot of NFL coaches are happy that last night happened.
Sure.
Because when you got to deal with an owner or not a GM, but an owner or somebody, hey, take the hot name.
Right.
And then you really don't want to. That's when you get into weird situations.
Sure.
So I think that everything worked out the way it probably should have, because Michael Penix will probably go where he should go.
Right. No, I mean, I think when it comes to college evaluation, I mean, it's an impossible game. I mean, there's a reason why, everybody fails at it. I mean, even NFL people, NBA people, it all, for the most part, don't even get me started on baseball. It's all a crapshoot. I mean, and that's why I've always been a proponent of you got to draft for not for what you did on the field. Of course, that plays into the equation, but you're really drafting the individuals. And I think that was, the Anthony Richardson case. A lot of people were like, the numbers aren't there at Florida. You look at him and, he doesn't look that good. He's got some concerning moments, but you look at the athlete that he is, and it's like, I mean, looking back, hindsight being 2020, like, wouldn't you much rather take the risk on a guy like Anthony Richardson than a guy who's got the numbers and feels safe in Bryce Young? Like, doesn't that feel crazy? And maybe that's hindsight being 2020. And, for every Anthony Richardson out there, there's, Josh Rosen's, and there's, guys who had the build of what should be an NFL quarterback, but didn't end up, Paxton Lynch and guys like that. But, it's tough. And I'm looking at Davion's numbers here to take it back to him. The 3-point shooting goes from 28% his first season at Auburn to 32% his first season at Baylor. And then the year he gets drafted, the year they win the championship, shoots all the way up at 44% from
So he
three.
just got on a heater.
He got on a heater, I guess, but how are you supposed to know that is the question.
Right.
Like, I mean, as an evaluator, like
that's a great call, because in all these sports,
you have 90 games of data at that point on Davion Mitchell.
Right. But some are when he is right out of high school.
Totally.
Some are when he is a grown man.
Yeah.
I think what they try to do is focus on certain things when I'm watching, because I don't know if I'm the only one, but I watch my College World Series every single year. I'll watch the regionals, and it's coming up. It's almost baseball season. I will be watching college baseball season, both baseball seasons actually. I will be watching, and what those scouts do, and all scouts, is it's specific things. It's okay, this person can do X and Y. The Z that we want to see is, can he hit for average? So for that specific guy, they might care that his contact percentage is higher than last season. But a random dude who is just kind of good at everything, doesn't have great projectables, then I don't think that they really care. So for Davion, it might have been a situation where, it would be fun to maybe even look at not just Davion, but all these guys. Harrison Barnes went 7. Okay.
Right.
So Davion, okay, he does all of these things. We want to see how he improves shooting the basketball.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah.
So if you are a scout and it doesn't work out, and they're saying, well, what happened here? Well, you told me our focus was to see if this guy
can play defense
and shoot the basketball. And he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So we drafted him.
Yeah.
And sometimes he continues to do it. Sometimes that player continues to do it. Sometimes they don't. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we're talking Tyrese Halliburton. There's a sad situation. We won't get to see him in Sacramento. And an even sadder situation in Memphis with Ja Morant going down for the season. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get to the action in Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emron Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. We have some NFL news here. Number one, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin has ruled out TJ Watt for their wild card game. I mean,
they already didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough one. JJ Watt, who has really been pretty funny on social media ever since retiring or in general.
Not a big JJ Watt guy.
I did not know that, but I will ask more about that as we get into the show. JJ Watt says, do you think they'd notice? And he has photoshopped himself into a Steelers uniform.
Really? Trying to do the Marcus Markeith switch.
That's right.
They could probably get away with it. I don't know. TJ's pretty good these days. I don't know if JJ can summon that even for another.
Have you seen those memes with? There's some ones that I won't get into with Ja Morant, but they've also been with Tom Brady, where they have the
what a meme pairing.
Well, once I say it, you'll know, and I'm not going to say the Ja one, but for Tom Brady, the Green Goblin helmet. If you remember Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Where it like talks to him.
Yeah, telling him what to do. And it's Tom Brady like, come back, Tom. Come back. You need to play. Like he has his helmet, his football helmet doing the same thing. And I wonder if JJ Watt is in that.
Same the connection for what the job means.
Okay, there you go. The job. So you have JJ Watt. I'm wondering if he's in the same situation because he jokes a lot about playing again.
Sure.
And if you're joking a lot about playing, let's not forget, I mean, JJ Watt never really got to compete for anything throughout his career, right? I mean, he was on
just the hearts of all of America.
The hearts of Houston.
Come on.
Okay. And he did a great job out there in Houston, but he never really got to compete. And I wonder if that bugs him deep down. I mean, to be the best at your position for whatever amount of years and to never really get to do it at the highest stage. I mean, is JJ Watt? He's not, but I'm getting Mike Trout vibes almost.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean,
he's not as good as Mike Trout.
I was like, don't make me hate on JJ Watt more than I need to.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if JJ Watt's at that level, but no, in a similar sense of like, you're a great player. You're just kind of, I don't want to say historically irrelevant because that's not true, but like in terms of the outcomes of these seasons, like the story's being told without you. And, I don't know if you could tell the entire story of the sport or of this era without bringing your name up, definitely. But, in terms of what's ending up happening with the final results of the season, you're just not even a factor.
As we mentioned before, sources, this was an hour ago, you have Mike Vrabel being let go from the Titans, and the Titans, I think it's one of those, to your point, that he will get picked up because I don't think it's a matter of Mike Vrabel not doing a good job. I think it's a matter of the Titans just wanting to start fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know.
Tannehill runs over. It seems like Henry's run is over.
You just get him a quarterback. I mean, again, the Titans. They
got two of them. They got Mayo Man and they got Malik Willis.
And you missed on both.
Yeah.
Mayo Man.
I think there might be a little something there with Mayo Man.
Yeah.
But it seems like Malik Willis.
Right. You just kind of start fresh if you're the Titans. And you know what? This is actually a good comparison to the Kings, okay? Because we talk about the window, right? And if you look at the Titans are a good comparison because obviously it's not the same because it's football, but the Titans were in the playoffs for the last couple of years now. They had that really big game where they beat the Ravens when nobody expected them to beat Lamar and the Ravens. But did anybody ever think the Titans were going to win the Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Now, if you talk to people in Tennessee, a Titans fan, do you think they will say that they've been happy about?
I mean, they might have had a chance, but like,
everybody has a
chance. Yeah. I mean, They were the one. That's what I mean. Like, they were the one seed. I think they did end up losing in their first game that season, but like, they were one of the best teams in the AFC. It was just. They were kind of going against the end of the Brady Patriot era and kind of the start of the Mahomes Chiefs era. So
that's true.
A little bit caught in between a rock and a hard place there.
So I don't know if you talk to a Tennessee Titans fan, if they would say, hey, these last years have been great.
Right.
I've enjoyed my time because you're starting all over now. And that is the fear with not again, different sport. That is the fear with not capitalizing when you have talent and you have an opportunity. And I bring this back to the Kings because the Kings, they're a 3 seed last season. I don't think they're going to be a 3 seed this season. Maybe I would love to have egg on my face and have that
Not
conversation.
Unless they make a move.
But right. And that's the whole point. So now are we going to sit here? And I know it's only year 2 of this rebrand and Mike Brown and, and this core kind of moving forward, but things change quickly.
Very.
And it goes from our window is opening to our window is now shut. And that's because it's not all about you. When we talk at the round table and we talk with Kyle Draper in the cross-talk, it's always about the Kings. I feel like we focus too much on the Kings and not enough about the fact that all the other teams, the current era of NBA that we're in.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's been 3 champions in 3 years for the first time in like 40 years. It's been a very long time since the NBA has had this level of parity.
When the Warriors were rolling, all right, the Warriors, and look, there's always competition. And I don't think anybody was going to beat that Warriors team anyway. But it was the Rockets who gave them a good try. And then it was the Cavs who, honestly, if it wasn't for the Warriors, maybe the Cavs, they go on a run here. But the Cavs were just moonwalking to the Eastern Conference, to the finals every season. Yeah. And prior to that, and part of that is LeBron, I get it. It was the Heat kind of doing the same thing. This is a new landscape now.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And during that time with the Heat, that was the end of the Spurs. And the Spurs didn't really have, they had some battles here and there, but that was, Kobe was, that Lakers team was starting to go away and the Warriors weren't doing anything yet. And really, off the top of my head, with the Grizzlies,
Thunder,
right?
we're coming up.
We're coming up and giving it a good college try. But this is different. You have legitimate conversations about who is the MVP every single season.
Yeah.
And it's more than 2 people.
Yeah.
It's more than 3 people. It's about 5 people that you could choose from. And the ladders are legit. This is the first time people get legitimately upset about these MVP ladders because there are that many candidates.
Yeah.
Up until about 2 weeks ago with De'Aaron, he was in that conversation. Right. So I think as much as we don't want Monty McNair to make a hasty move, again, you take this thing to the summer, okay, and now everybody is focused on making that team better because only one team won, and now you're going to battle. The whole thing about Siakam, I'm not going to re-sign with Sacramento again. We're not sure if that's specifically Sacramento. If that's a thing and, we can be in Sacramento and have the way that we view Sacramento versus the way the nation views Sacramento, do you really want to be out there battling with other cities, not just teams?
Sure.
You're battling with cities.
Yeah, definitely.
That I think is the struggle that Monty McNair has right now, not being hasty, but if right now teams are all, because everybody's going to be waiting for the summer. We love the summer, okay, and the free agents and things like that, and that sometimes it can struggle.
Yeah,
with
free agency is not the route that this team can try and build through. I mean, that's just not how things have worked here in Sacramento ever. I mean, you get Chris Webber via trade, you bring in Domantas Sabonis via trade or the draft. Those are the only 2 avenues in which historically
and
the
that's
Kings
not just Sacramento. That's a lot of
there's
cities.
Tons of cities.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the Boston Celtics haven't had a significant, like Gordon Hayward is probably the most significant Boston Celtics signing or in my lifetime.
Kyrie was a trade.
Like they even struggle. They didn't get Kevin Durant. They've been in all of the same sweepstakes as all the other big name teams, and they haven't ended up getting anybody. So it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. I think that was a trade as well.
Yeah.
It's tough. And so I mean, if you're Monty McNair, you have to strike at some point. And if you have intentions of winning this year, because who knows? Yeah, like you said, the window could. Who knows what happens this offseason? There could be a new super team formed, and you just never know. And so, there is a case to hop on this opportunity now. And I think if that's going to be the case, though, if the Kings are going to make a move, I'm starting to, we're getting close to the trade deadline here. We're now under a month away. I think you said it's February 8th is the trade deadline. We're now sitting here January 9th. So if the Kings are going to make a move, especially if it's going to be a big move, which like you said earlier, it is, I don't want to say it feels like it's trending towards a no if the Kings are just going to keep not budge on giving up more. Then I think they got to make a move. They got to do it soon because you don't make a move at the deadline, at the final buzzer. You want to make a move with as much time as possible, not to necessarily pivot, but who knows if you make a move for we'll say Siakam. Why not? Because it's the name out there. You make a move for Siakam, there still might be another move that needs to be made, and you're going to have to allow yourself the time to, A, let Siakam get incorporated with this team, with the offense, so you have a good idea of what it looks like, but B, you're going to have to see how long it's going to take for another trade to materialize and what it is that your team still needs. So if Monty McNair is going to seize on that opportunity, boy, I hope he does it soon.
Yeah, and you don't have to, but just there are issues either way. It's not as if, hey, we can just push and we'll be all right. We'll just figure it out in the summer. Well, that's when all the teams are figuring it out. And we're not saying to make a move, but just know what you're getting into. It's not going to be a very simple.
You might have to give up more.
Right. You might have to give up more. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, Chris Beerman joins us with the Candlestick Chronicles in the Sacramento Bee. We talked to him about Niners with their week off and the Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. People come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLake4.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLake4.com. 0
down with approved credit.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
When it's chilly cold at night, don't just add another blanket. Add a new furnace system instead. Now for as low as $5,999 with 0% interest and no payments for 18 months. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We are joined by our guy, the Candlestick Chronicles, and the Sacramento Bee. Chris, how's it going?
I'm doing well, trying to stay warm and dry here in freezing, raining Detroit, but otherwise, no complaints.
Okay, so that's what we were going to double check. So you're there right now. You're going to be in Detroit, and then you go to Charlotte as well. Do you go to Philly too?
I do, and then given the baton back to my guy Jason Anderson for the last 2 games of the road trip, Milwaukee and Phoenix. So I'll be here I'll be on the road for the next 3.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. We'll just get this out the way now. You need a cheesesteak. Don't listen, whatever Kyle Draper, he said D'Alessandro's, that's good too. You go to Ish Kabibbles, okay? Go to Ish Kabibbles, and they will take care of you. So let's just start there. We can talk about a little bit more at the end of the call. But yeah, good to have you on as always, Chris. Let's go Kings to start. Okay, our Chris Watkins. He's messing up the vibes in here, Chris, talking about the Detroit Pistons, and he's worried. We're not doing this, right? I mean, there's no way. No Kate Cunningham, no Isaiah Stewart. It's a G League team. We're not doing this, right? It's not going to happen, okay? It's not possible, right?
I would be stunned if the Kings came to Detroit and did not play well, particularly after how Sunday went against New Orleans. Now, if this were like a Sunday start back in Sacramento and it was like a 1 p.m. start tip, something like that, and the Pistons are missing some guys, then yeah, maybe my antenna would be up in terms of the Kings possibly playing down to their competition and potentially getting upset. But I would imagine this is a pretty frustrated team, a pretty angry team, given the way things went Sunday against New Orleans. And so, there's an opponent here that's ripe for a blowout in Detroit, and I think the Kings would gladly acquiesce.
Chris, it kind of feels like to me the Kings have benefited from some fortunate results, more so towards the end of the year. But then I think we've seen that play hasn't really gotten better. And now we're starting to see some negative results when it comes to the Kings. What do you kind of feel like has changed with this team in the past 2 weeks? I mean, really from that Timberwolves game on, I mean, the loss to the Blazers, the loss to the Hornets, I mean, having to have a huge comeback against the Hawks, and then, the double overtime against the Magic, and then the huge loss to the Pelicans. Just what do you feel like has really changed within this team?
Yeah, I think last year when everything was so new and fresh, there was a certain level of excitement with it, and it all felt, like my thing coming out of last year was never going to feel the same as last year. Like the come up is always the most exciting part. And I think that was true not only for the fans and the organization, but also the players themselves. Right. And there were some tweaks made this offseason to the system and to what they want to be offensively. There was more put on Keegan Murray's plate, both offensively and defensively. And on the offensive end, that meant fewer opportunities for Kevin Huerter. And Kevin Huerter, obviously a rhythm player, has not been nearly the same player he was offensively for spurts that he was last year. And then Harrison Barnes is, getting up there in age. I don't know if I'm reading too much into the fact that Harrison Barnes has like a little knee brace thing that he's wearing, but he's, 31 years old, obviously not old in real life terms, but maybe in NBA terms might be getting up there. And, he's at the latter stages of his career potentially. And maybe he's not the same guy that he was early on in his Kings tenure. Right. So I think there's a confluence of factors that might lead to a few of the, ancillary guys on the margins not playing as well as they did last year. And I think that, that could have a domino effect in terms of how much you're relying on De'Aaron Fox and how much you're relying on Domantas Sabonis. So, I think going into the deadline, and something I'll certainly be keeping an eye on during this road trip is does this team need to shake things up from a roster perspective, right? The trade deadline's about a month away. And is that going to be something that they need to do to improve, or can the improvements come internally? I know Monty McNair, particularly last year's deadline, made it a point to say, we think our biggest growth is going to come internally, that the roster that they have can just improve as it is. And I think we're seeing that maybe plateau a little bit here midway through the second season of Mike Brown's tenure. And I'm wondering if that's going to lead to some moves being made.
Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles, also the Sacramento Bee. Chris, real quick before we get to Niners stuff, Kevin Huerter was in a starter practice jersey yesterday, and people were saying, oh, is he going back into the starting lineup? Did you see that? Do you care? Are people just bored?
I didn't see it. I'm not going to answer whether or not I care, but I will say, that, when the Kings were on their road trip and they made the change to the starting lineup, I believe it was in Memphis, with Chris Duarte starting over Kevin Huerter. Chris Duarte was in a practice jersey with a starter's practice jersey. So I think, maybe there is something to read into that. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's you've piqued my interest, though. I'll make sure to ask Mike Brown and maybe ask around before the game tonight.
There you go. All right, now let's get to the Niners. The Chargers have asked for permission to interview defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. You surprised by that? And does it say more about, I guess, the Niners fans' expectations and the Niners organization's expectations? The fact that really Steve Wilks, a lot of people thought he had somewhat of a tough season until he comes down on the sidelines, and even still, he's willing to, our teams are willing to reach out to him and see, hey, we think you can lead a whole team. Were you surprised by that? And do you think he moves?
I would be surprised if he got a head coaching job, frankly. I think one of the unfortunate things about the NFL's Rooney Rule policy is that teams will do these interviews without really the expectation of those guys being real candidates, right? And yeah. I know whether or not, that you talk to people in the league, and some people are even reluctant to interview for these jobs because sometimes, if you're trying to move up in NFL circles, whether it's a coaching job or a personnel job, if you are interviewing but you're not getting those jobs, like, people look at that, right? And so some people are reluctant to say to go interview for a job knowing that they're not going to get it because it could potentially look bad down the road when when other future employers are saying, well, why didn't you get this job? What went on there? And that's not to say that Steve Wilks is necessarily going to have to deal with that. That's just more of my commentary on the Rooney Rule overall. But no, I would be surprised. I mean, the Chargers seem like a possible Jim Harbaugh candidate. I know Mike Vrabel is probably going to be one of the most sought after candidates now that he's gone from Tennessee, and these are obviously two white guys, and teams that have openings are required by the Rooney Rule to interview minority candidates. So Steve Wilks might be filling that quota, so to speak. And so I think I don't love the Rooney Rule. I love, I'm in on the idea of improving opportunities and for minority candidates, obviously, but I don't know that forcing teams to interview them when they might clearly have their eyes elsewhere, I don't know that necessarily solves the problem. But I do think it's good for Steve Wilkes overall. Like, he had a good season. I think, to a man, anybody who was in that Carolina Panthers locker room and involved with that organization, maybe with the exception of David Tepper last year, believe that Steve Wilkes did a really good job with the Panthers. And so could be a fact-finding mission for the Chargers to see what's up with Steve Wilkes. It never hurts to get as much information and about as many candidates as possible. But overall, like, I would be kind of surprised if he got a head job after just 1 year with the Niners, but no, it doesn't really surprise me that he's part of this process.
Interesting. And we're also hearing a ton of, the Niners are being asked about Adam Peters as well, their assistant GM. Yeah. Just what can you really tell us about Adam Peters, somebody who I wasn't super familiar with, but seems to be thrown in a lot of these open GM jobs?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because Adam Peters is probably the most important personnel voice, within the organization when it comes to just scouting personnel, operating the scouting department. John Lynch is kind of the overseer of everything, right? He's sort of the connector within the organization and the front-facing, face and voice, the guy who does a lot of media. And so, that's John Lynch is not the GM who's like Trent Baalke, right? Trent Baalke was very much the guy who lives in his film room and is just grinding tape and has a big scouting background. John Lynch is more of the CEO type, right, so to speak. So, and part of that delegation was allowing Adam Peters to really take on the head personnel job. And so when it comes to just purely evaluating talent, Adam Peters has been really indispensable for the 49ers since they've developed this roster that's, arguably one of the best in the league. He's a Bay Area guy. I know it's a dream of his to be working for the 49ers. I don't know exactly what he makes, but I would guess for an assistant GM, it's way up there, right? And there's a potential that, John Lynch has hinted at, or at least been a candidate for like the Amazon job, right? Doing right. TV that would pay him $20 million a year. And I'm sure, the 49ers would have no problem turning the reins over to Adam Peters if and when John Lynch ever stepped away. So I wonder if Adam Peters looks at it and says, well, maybe in 3 or 4 years, I could be the GM of the 49ers, still make relatively close money as an assistant GM here, or does he really want to be a GM and run his own shop elsewhere, move out of the Bay Area where he grew up, and then obviously make a little bit more money in the short term. But no, in terms of him being a GM candidate, I would have to think he's one of the best GM candidates in the league, and he's been interviewing for a few years now. And so the way the 49ers have been operating, it's, John Lynch is sort of the overseer. Adam Peters is the head personnel guy, and Kyle Shanahan is the guy pulling the trigger really on all the offensive players for sure. So Adam Peters would be a really big loss. I'm curious to see if he feels urgency to go get a GM job elsewhere, or if he would just kind of wait in the wings to see what happens with John Lynch and potentially replace him in the 49ers GM chair.
Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles, Sacramento Bee. Enjoy your time out there. Get some Detroit-style pizza, whatever.
Enjoy that free Wingstop, Chris.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you. Free Wingstop. What's happening? What?
Oh, every time the Pistons win, you get 5 free wings.
Oh, stop it. Why would you say that? Don't listen to him, Chris. Chris, thanks for joining us. Can't wait to have you next week when we discuss who the Niners will be taking on in the NFL playoffs. Talk soon.
Appreciate it. I'll get some lemon
hot.
pepper for lemon
hot.
pepper. Lemon pepper is my move at Wingstop.
That's totally justifiable. That's number 2
right.
for me.
Great stuff. Great stuff, Chris. Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles, and the Sacramento Bee. When we get back, we will talk about the possible outcomes for the 49ers, and we will also discuss a star player that is 9 games away from not making the amount of games to be an MVP. We'll tell you who that is when we get back. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, all-stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. Thank you again to Chris Beerman of the Candlestick Chronicles and the Sacramento Bee. Have some news here. We also have Mark Schlereth said he spoke with Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy with one of his spicier answers to the game manager conversation. And this is from at our SF 49ers. This is Brock Purdy to Mark Schlereth, and Mark Schlereth talks about this on the Stinkin' Truth podcast. Here's a quote from this is the quote that Mark Schlereth is saying Brock Purdy said to them. Anyone that calls me a game manager is either not watching the film or doesn't know what they're looking at.
Okay.
That's the spiciest I've heard Brock. It's not, I'm just happy to be here, Brock. Are we seeing a turning of the guard with Brock Purdy preparing for playoff Purdy?
I mean, I don't know. That definitely sounds like there's a little bit of a little bit of a flip in his switch a little bit, because he's always been super humble. I mean, even a month ago he said Christian McCaffrey's the MVP, not to just to kind of divert a little bit of attention away from himself. Like, he has not been a dude who has been very vocal about the plethora of haters out there. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if, he feels like, all right, I just put together a full regular season of MVP level football, MVP caliber football. Mm-hmm. Let me kind of talk my stuff a little bit. Like, I don't have to just be, the guy that gets hammered all the time. Like, let me be, I'm tired of being the nail. Let me be the hammer for once. And it wouldn't surprise me if, especially if Brock has, a ring to show for it at the end of this year. Wouldn't surprise me if this offseason and going into next season, we hear a lot about Brock's moxie, about how he, carries himself in the huddle.
He shows out on the field. People get it twisted. I mean,
no. It's a little Steph Curry. Yes,
it is. It is. It's not as cool. Steph plans this stuff out. I don't think Brock does. Sure does. But Brock has done the ice in my veins. Yep. Brock is
he yells, all that stuff.
But then he goes on the podium, says the right things, and people think, he's such just a quiet dude. When in reality, he's out here showing out a lot of times, and I think we're going to see a lot of that throughout the playoffs. Yeah. Some of it, there's a difference between the emotion and just screaming versus the ice in my veins. He shows out a little bit.
Definitely.
And if they keep winning, I think we're going to see, okay, did we get duped a little bit?
I think so.
Did we get duped a little bit? Is he just, again, the helmet, the Green Goblin saying, Brock, do what you want to do. Flex on him, Brock.
Stand on business, Brock. Come on.
And maybe if they continue winning, he just can't hold it in anymore, because we've already seen some flashes of that. So, that was a note that just dropped not too long ago. Also, this is from Joel Embiid, unlikely to play tomorrow.
Oh,
right. And now that is the player I was kind of discussing.
Ooh.
If he misses 9 more games, he'd be disqualified from the MVP race.
Oh, yeah, he ain't winning that thing. There's no way. There's no way Joel's he's definitely missing 10 more games.
Yeah. How many? There's at least, 50 games left?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, there's 45-ish. Yeah, I mean, we're almost getting near halfway towards the season. So, I mean, I'd be shocked. Joel is somebody who already, he hasn't even missed like a chunk of time. These have just kind of been one-off games here and there that they're giving him some rest for some tweaks and things like that. He hasn't even gone down with like his shoulder's hurting. He's going to miss like a week and a half. I mean, with how Joel's career has gone, frankly, I mean, with the exception of last year, that's really the healthiest he's been. So it would not surprise me if Joel Embiid does not meet that 65-game requirement. And I'm looking at it now, and the Sixers have they have played 35 games.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of season left.
There's a lot of season left, and a couple different ways to look at this, because I think Joel Embiid is just going to go on and say, honestly, I got one. And I think Joel Embiid, for all the years where he was bridesmaid to the different brides, whether it's with Giannis or Jokic, I think he really just wanted one, and he got his one. I'm sure he wants more, but I think he wants to be healthy, and now he's just going to go the route of
go win a title.
We want to win a title.
Yeah,
that's our goal, to win a title. The other way I'm looking at this is whether we think it's been good for the league, because is it any surprise, or is it correlated that this thing comes down and all of a sudden the Clippers have been the healthiest that they've ever been? I mean,
no, that's absolutely not a coincidence.
I mean, it can't be a coincidence.
It's definitely not. No, Kawhi's, I mean, it is also, I mean, okay, I'm sure there is a tiny bit of coincidence in the sense of Kawhi Leonard has actually just been healthy, because Kawhi is, again, another one of those guys.
He rested for the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So. He better have something left in the tank there. So, because, Kawhi's one of those dudes who, just like I said about Joel, he'll miss 2 weeks with a knee pain or something like that. And it just hasn't happened this year. So in one way, yes, it is a bit of a coincidence, but also it's not, because I guarantee a reason why Kawhi hasn't, maybe missed a 2-week stretch or missed a week here and there is because he's probably trying to get, like you said, he's missed games the last 3 years. I don't think he's really been acknowledged in any of the all-NBA teams, or, especially not in the playoffs. The story has been told without Kawhi Leonard. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's kind of trying to be in that MVP conversation, be in some first-team all-NBAs. And, I mean, this Clippers team, at some point, it was going to have to click. I mean, they've been running into a wall with Paul George and Kawhi for 4 or 5 years now. And I mean, it'd be nice to have something to show for it besides one bubble Western Conference Finals appearance.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Joel Embiid is just going to take it easy. Like you said, not take it easy, but I don't think he's worried about going back to back the MVPs. I mean, we were having the same conversation about Jokic until he got one last season, because he already had some MVPs. So I'm curious, because that's not just MVP, that's all the all NBA stuff. So who else out there? Maybe we should.
And what does that do for Sabonis?
Yeah,
hey, that's good news for Sabonis.
It is good news for Sabonis.
I'm pretty sure they removed the positions in all NBA nowadays, but I mean, it's one less name that's off the list. So.
Yeah, got to get to a break. When we get back, talking Niners, and also, is this guy untouchable?
Uh-oh.
Chris says yes. I might say yes, too. You'll have to come back and find out. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, did you guys know? Did you guys know the average person eats 9 spiders whenever I cook for them?
From his multiple Netflix comedy specials, Anthony Jeselnik brings his new stand-up tour, Bones and All, to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Don't miss Anthony Jeselnik live this Friday. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com and AnthonyJeselnik.com.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from, and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Gather the family, pass on traditions, and discover new adventures together. Your Life Outdoors, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777. New year, new you. And what better way to start fresh than with a new ride from Elk Grove Kia? Nothing beats second, whether it's a second shot at love, a second shot at life, or even seconds at the all-you-can-eat buffet. But when it comes to your next car, no one believes more in second chances than Elk Grove Kia. Bankruptcies, challenged credit, no problem. Our finance department specializes in turning challenges into triumphs. We guarantee no one does challenged credit better than us. Elk Grove Kia can get you into a new ride in 2024. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of combined experience. Elk Grove Kia's team can navigate even the most challenging credit pasts. We understand that life happens, and we're here to help you move forward in a brand new Kia. So don't wait any longer when you could be enjoying 2024 in a brand new Kia. Head over to Elk Grove Kia today in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or visit elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance awaits. New year, new you, new ride. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We have from the Sac Chat, shout out to the Sac Chat. Shout out to the texters, and we'll get to you in a second, JR. The Real Cheech says, Huerter, Davion for Marcus Smart. Who says no? I don't. I do that right now.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, like Marcus Smart is kind of like ideally what you want from Davion. I will say Marcus Smart's shooting numbers are not great. And
he was hitting a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's kind of how he is, though, where it's like, you know, Marcus Smart, I will say the one biggest compliment I can give to Marcus Smart, I love him as a player. He is a dog. He is a capital D-A-W-G.
The dog segment.
Dog, okay? But he is a big-time player. Like, he's the type of dude who, in a Game 7, he would have 25 points and it wouldn't be surprising.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the dude who, gets the game-winning steal, wouldn't be surprising. Dives on the floor, saves the ball, unsurprising. Like, he's the kind of guy who this Kings team could really – and if you're looking for a dude who's vocal, a dude who's been in some situations, he was with Boston all throughout the Tatum-Brown run, so he's been in all the Eastern Conference Finals. He was in that finals against the Warriors. That's an interesting guy. I mean, that's definitely somebody who brings a little bit of fire, a little bit of that, Draymond-esque edge that I think this team could use. It's also a vocal leader who's been in a ton of situations. He would play in the rotation. I could convince myself of it. I don't know if that's the move that's going to make all the puzzle pieces fit.
No.
And I don't know if getting rid of a shooter in Kevin Huerter is, I don't want to say worth it, but again, I'm going to say post-trade deadline, like second half of the season, if Kevin Huerter returns to normal or what we think normal is for Kevin Huerter, it's almost like acquiring somebody via trade.
That's fair.
And it's
both unknowns.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. They're both unknowns. You don't know what you're going to get from Marcus Smart. I think I know what you're going to get, but I don't know how it's going to affect what this team does because, yes, while it is this team desperately needs some defensive weapons, let's not get it twisted. This team's bread is buttered currently with the 3-point shot.
No, I got you on that. But he'll hit him. He'll hit him. He didn't hit him against the Kings, but I think he was airballing.
Let's see what he's shooting this year here.
Marcus Smart is 29 years old, so I don't think that the timeline with the rest of the Grizzlies, their average age is 25. So it's not terribly off. But I could see the Grizzlies saying, I don't think we necessarily need to keep Marcus Smart.
Right.
If we're not.
Especially, they're not fighting for nothing.
To get two younger guys in Davion and Kevin Huerter is 25 years old.
Marcus Smart, I'm looking here from 3. He's taking 6.6 attempts, which is tied for the most of his career.
Give it to me.
Shooting 30 on the nose, 30% from the field.
No, but
42% from the field,
30%
from the
field. No, hold on now. Yeah. I want to see the splits when Ja was back. Because that team is just a mess. That's not even an NBA team without Ja Morant. You don't need to do it now, but I would imagine that he shot a little bit better with Ja in the building.
He has also, I don't know if he's played with Ja this season. He's played in 19 games and started in all 19 games. So he might have, I know he dealt with some injuries throughout this year, so he might have honestly been hurt in games in which Ja has played. I'm not 100% sure. But
I don't even know if this is a hot take, but, just because you were something doesn't mean that's what you're ultimately going to be. Is it crazy if Kevin Huerter is only 25? Is it crazy for me to think, and we were just talking with Jay, our producer, who's doing a great job today, about baseball, and I've told you the story about how I was in center. I got moved to left for a guy who he was younger than me. He was just better, right? Yeah. He ends up playing AA, so I don't feel as bad. Is it crazy for me to say that I'm just not sure that Kevin Huerter is ultimately a starter in this league? Is that insane?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's insane at all because he is at this moment in time like Kevin Huerter's a shooter. Yeah. I know that, and that's a guy who can come off the bench because realistically, like if you're talking, I mean, look, if we're talking highest aspirations for this team, NBA Finals, Kevin Huerter last 5 minutes. Do you want Kevin Huerter out there?
Not right now.
I think you can live without him. I think is where we can fall. I think at all points, even when his shot's falling down, it's like. It'd be great to have a shooter out there, but also you have to think about the other end. Again, NBA Finals here. We're talking Game 7 NBA Finals, 5 minutes to go. You're going to trust Kevin Huerter's defense out there? You're going to trust that in that 5 minutes, Kevin Huerter, the shooter, is going to hit a shot in that 5 minutes? Because if he's not going to hit his shot in that last 5 minutes, you could probably do a whole lot better bringing somebody out there who's going to bring defense, going to bring some rebounding, maybe some big play potential. If you have Kevin Huerter out there just to hit threes, and that's really, I mean, if you're acknowledging he's going to be a liability, well, then in that last 5 minutes, he better be taking some threes.
Right.
And so that's where yes, you can have him out there, especially if he's hitting shots at levels that we've seen him at. But if he's not hitting shots and you're not designing plays for him to get shots in that last 5 minutes.
They don't design plays for anybody. As they tell us every time.
Is that the right move? Or is he expendable for better or whatever? I don't know if expendable is the right word, but like, is he you can do with or without Kevin Huerter. I guess that is expendable, but expendable feels tough.
Right, but
tough label to
most
put on.
players are expendable in the league. It's not a Kevin Huerter thing. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140. Let's get out to JR, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, JR? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Wet Blanket? What's up, De La Salle?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, how about BC Brock dropping some stunting on those homies?
He is.
Yeah, I like it. And don't compare him to Stephon Curry.
Why not?
He's not into the foot-long sandwiches like old Stephon.
True. That's big true.
Come on.
Very true. He's more a Toyota guy.
He's more, hey, I'm working out. I'm getting in shape.
Right.
Yeah, he's next Steve Young with the Toyota commercials. Please, he's not some guy doing Aquafina commercials and friggin' used cars or whatever Stephon does. Brita, my water has to be perfect. Yeah, please don't do that to my Brock. Hey, the dude you had on though, SF Chronicle,
Biederman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He, man, some really good insight, especially the association or whatever assistant GM there in SF land. That's great knowledge. That's like a real interview with real stuff. I'm really impressed with you and the team over there.
Hey,
JR, we thought you were one of our P1 listeners. Chris Beerman is on every week, JR. He's on every week.
I know, but today he friggin' delivered. I tell you right now.
All right.
I got dropped. Okay, later. Bye-bye. Love you.
Bye, JR.
I thought in 2024, JR might have, I don't even know what to say here.
Grown?
Yeah, maybe. JR is still JR. New year, same JR. But yes, shout out to Chris Beerman, who joins us every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. And
he always comes with the fire, 11 a.m. every Tuesday. Candlestick Chronicles, host of the Candlestick Chronicles, and also the Sacramento Bee, writes and does some great stuff for the Sacramento Bee. So, yeah, I like the Marcus Smart idea. I think it could work. I also want to start this as we move forward and about a couple of minutes away from the next break here. The name that we threw out at the beginning of the show that is starting to come up as, are you part of the core four? Are you not? And for all intents and purposes, we believe he will be signed, but it's Malik Monk.
Mm-hmm.
And Malik Monk, in my opinion, if you're asking Alan Stiles, is Malik Monk untouchable? Yes, in my opinion. Now, relatively speaking, now the question is really when we do these untouchable conversations, we should say for the level, right? Do I want Malik Monk in part of a conversation for Dorian Finney-Smith? No,
absolutely.
Do I want Malik Monk in part of a conversation for Marcus Smart? No. The question is that line. Do I want Malik Monk in the part of a conversation for Lauri Markkanen? That's where it starts to get tough for me.
Sure.
I would say no, but that's where it starts to get tough for me. And if you keep on elevating, that's where it's like, okay, that untouchable is untouchable for another role player.
Yeah.
I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah, like if you're moving on from Malik, he better be treated as a pretty significant value piece. Like that should not be that should be the headline piece there. Is I'm moving on from Malik Monk, who's a 25-year-old expiring contract, a dude who's definitely on the up and is about to get paid and will honestly get paid probably a more reasonable number. I mean, when you think about what Siakam's going to ask for, $40 million, it's a lot easier to try and stomach. I think Malik will get somewhere near $18 to $22 million. So, I mean, if you're the Kings, like you said, I mean, it's just got to be the right guy if you're gonna include Malik Monk, or else, yeah, for all intents and purposes, he's untouchable just because of how important he is to this team. Like, it's not like he is an expendable piece. I would say as a actual piece of this year's team, I would say he's more irreplaceable than Keegan Murray, I would think, just with how he's played to this point this year. If you're talking about, I want this team to be successful for this NBA season, it feels like you can't realistically move on from Malik Monk unless you're getting a huge, significant upgrade in talent. And I just don't see that name out there. Like, I don't think Pascal Siakam is a big enough home run for me to include Malik Monk. So I'm not going to say he's 100% untouchable, but if he's being thrown in there, there better not be much else thrown in there.
No, definitely not. And I would agree. I think we all know that the Keegan Murray is the future situation. But if you're talking about this season, it's Malik Monk in terms of importance. And you need all of the pieces of the machine in order for it to work. Got to get to a break. When we get back, you want to rent a Siakam or do you not? Stiles or Watkins? Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We have some more news. About an hour ago, Trey Lyles is available tonight. So again, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. I am not worried. I am not worried in the least bit. Okay. I will be enjoying myself for this early game. And I'm probably only going to have to fully pay attention for the first 2 quarters.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I just remember this team losing to Portland. I remember this team losing to Charlotte. I even remember early this year when they were in San Antonio and they were down like 28-7 to start that game. And yeah, they did turn it around, but and yes, this team is definitely in a situation right now where it feels like they need to respond after having a really rough stretch of games. But I don't know. Like I'll believe it when I see it is more where I'm at. It's not even that I think they're going to lose. It's just, again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled. I'm not going to get fooled again.
Anything can happen. Okay, I understand that these guys get paid too. Not as much.
Yeah.
But these guys get paid too. But I'm just choosing.
It shouldn't.
I'm choosing to have faith.
I'm going to choose to prepare myself.
Fine.
This is like doomsday prep. It's like some people are like, dude, the end of the world is not happening in my lifetime, okay? Like, I'll be fine.
Chris is the one with the bunker.
And if it does, then, like, I'll deal with it. I don't know. I'll buy some Twinkies, okay? And then there's people who are like, yeah, I have a bunker. I have food rations for the next 10 years. And, I don't even know if I think it's going to happen. But if it does, you're not going to be climbing into my hole, okay? Hey, now.
Yo. By the way, did you see Leave the World Behind on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
Because I love a good.
There's a couple Doomsday, like Don't Look Up too. I didn't watch that.
I watch all of the Doomsday movies, but that one, there was a lot of back and forth on how it ended. You should check it out.
Okay,
you check it out.
I think the last Doomsday movie I watched, I don't even know if it really counts, but like Bird Box, or was that what that movie was called? Sure. The Netflix one with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
that was probably the last one. I did watch. What is it? Not Don't Speak. What's the dude from The Office who has the Quiet Place?
Oh, The Quiet Place.
I saw the first one. I never watched the second one.
Brazil? Did you
really?
see that? Yeah.
Nah.
And then,
don't need the Quiet Place extended universe.
When we talked about Golden Globes yesterday, there was also The Last of Us, that show. Did you watch Last of Us?
I did not, but I heard it's great. I know the game is great, man. But I know I need to get on my HBO grind. I still need to watch the last season of Succession too.
You're just a gamer. You're just busy
Definitely
gaming.
not. I wish I was. I really wish I was. But I can't even game anymore. All the games. I mean, I have an Xbox. I need to get the PlayStation and hop on that Spider-Man game. But
what are you doing?
Dude, unfortunately, I'm just watching sports. And let me tell you, it has not been fun. It has not been fun.
My job. This is from Jason Anderson, who is also at the Sacramento Bee, just like our star guest, Chris Beerman. And Jason Anderson says, this is 46 minutes ago, Kings guard Kevin Huerter was back in the black practice jersey yesterday, indicating a possible return to the starting lineup. Huerter had 17 points on 6 of 10 shooting in 24 minutes against the Pelicans on Sunday, playing hard to the end in a blowout loss. And, I know I asked Chris the question, Chris Beerman, and I know I brought it up to you in the pre-show, but you know what, man? I don't know what just came over me. I'm so over this. I'm over some of these decisions that I think are getting it a little bit too high school-y to me. I'm honest. Or it's just the fact that Coach Mike Brown just doesn't ultimately think that he's going to find somebody that's going to lock down that spot.
I think he's searching.
Right?
Clearly.
But now you go back to Kevin Huerter because he played well in a blowout loss. Yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
I think honestly, they've just kind of been waiting for Kevin to get back to form. And Duarte was Duarte was a risk too. I mean, Duarte did not earn that starting spot.
I agree.
He just kind of got thrown in there because Kevin kept performing so poorly that it was, again, kind of like what we just talked about with the NBA Finals. It's like at least Duarte is giving us some defense. They're both not hitting shots. At the very least, we can throw Chris Duarte on John Morant the first 5 minutes of the game. We can't do that with Kevin Huerter. And so I think the hope seems to be getting into a bit of a rhythm. Maybe it was a bit of a mental lapse as well. Maybe he's just on the other side of it. And it's, hey, here's Kevin shooting well. The Duarte thing hasn't worked, or it hasn't made a difference, really. I mean, you could argue we've played some of our worst basketball since. And, why not go back to Kevin? It worked well for us last year, and we desperately need shooting. We read off the numbers of when the Kings shoot over 35% from three. They're, 20-4 on the season. So if Kevin's knocking down shots, why not? Why not throw him back out there?
But this is what's funny to me. Let's say Kevin Huerter, and again, you're playing a terrible Pistons team, so you should be able to keep it rolling. Sure. But let's say he doesn't, right? Does the clock restart and now Kevin gets another 10 games of awful play?
No, again,
right?
I think this is Mike Brown saying, Monty McNair, do you see me searching?
Yeah.
Give me something. Because I think, to your point, if this stretch doesn't work out with Kevin here, then it's, Monty, what do you want? Do you want me to go back to Duarte? Do you want me, what pieces? I mean, maybe then it is the official break in case of emergency. Guess we'll throw Malik out there now. But, I think this is a bit of, as we've talked about a lot yesterday as well, I think Mike Brown is finally starting to signal, or has been even, but it's just getting louder and louder. Mike Brown saying, I need help. I like the pieces we got. I can do things with the pieces we got. We're 21-14, not a bad record, but I need more. We didn't add to what we do, and I need this team to be different than the one we were last year, or else we're going to have the same problems and run into the same issue and probably find the same result. So I even if this Kevin thing does work, I think that there's still, Mike Brown has proven his point that I think we need a different answer there.
Right. It's going to work for a certain amount of time, and then it's not. It's reminding me, honestly, of Think Like a Man. I know everybody's seen Think Like a Man.
Yes.
So you've seen Think Like a Man.
Is that the Amanda Bynes soccer movie? No.
Jay just looked up. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad.
She's the man.
She's the man. Think Like a Man
with Steve Harvey and Kevin Hart.
My goodness gracious.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, Jay was going to cut off your mic.
Nah,
okay, so
it should be.
So basically,
Think Like a Man.
I feel like Taraji's character, I feel like Coach Mike Brown has to sit down Monty McNair.
Sure.
Right? And he has to have the conversation. What are your long-term goals? What are your short-term goals? Because I don't think anybody knows.
Right.
I don't think anybody knows right now, So that's where we're at. Kevin Huerter probably is going to be back in the starting lineup because he had a good game against in a blowout. Good for him. I'm not hating. Right. It's more about the bigger picture.
Sure.
And these little moves, right? It's the same thing about my dad and the car. Fixing the car and taking it to your buddy to fix it so that it works for another 2 weeks versus just taking it to an actual place, paying a little bit more money, and then, Dad, it won't break down when I'm on top of Mount Diablo anymore. That's the problem. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we discuss Pascal Siakam as a rental. We also preview the Detroit Pistons. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings begin their 5-game road trip tonight in Detroit.
Malik drives and hooks the pass. Sabonis hammers it home. Kings regain the lead.
It's the Kings and Pistons today at 4 on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
It's time to buck up Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes, here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. That's where I got my gorgeous black-on-black EQS SUV. I'll be honest, it's the most stunning car I've ever owned. And let me tell you why I love it. First of all, the minute you step inside, you feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Plus, I love the onboard navigation system. And I tell you what, my kids just love the front seat and rear seat heating option. You know how it is up here in Northern California. You got to have that during the winter. And of course, during the summer, you got to have seat cooling. Well, my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV has that as well. Go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They believe, guys, that when you buy the world's finest car, it should be an experience you'll never forget. It's the greatest car shopping experience I've ever had. They were tremendous. The ease of buying, they just made it super simple. It's just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5. And of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. And we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call.
At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested and will greet you with a smile.
They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later.
They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys.
So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and the host of the Pistons Pulse podcast. Say that 3 times fast. At 1 p.m. to talk all things Detroit, what their future looks like, and really just give them some support in this.
Yeah.
It's just a tough
We've been
time.
there. As Kings fans, we've been there.
That's right. That's right. I think everybody has been there. I don't know if everyone has been there.
3 wins is tough.
It's tough sledding.
That is not great.
It is tough sledding.
Pretty unique.
As we continue the conversation, Chris pointed out last night, we talked about the national championship game. We didn't talk about possibly the biggest story, which was the suite that
oh my gosh
consisted of
how many
Stephen
billion
A.
dollars
Smith,
were in there?
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, ... and Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. I think I saw Spike Lee in there too.
I thought that was Spike Lee. I wasn't sure if that was Spike Lee
Looked like
or
some
not.
Spike Lee glasses.
What was Travis Scott? So Travis Scott was there, I'm assuming, because it was in Houston.
Right. Oh, I didn't even
Because
connect those dots.
I was
Right.
thinking,
No,
why
absolutely.
is he there?
Yeah.
Other part too, fellas, it was a Jordan box. It was a Jordan suite box. So the Jeter, the
Right,
Travis
Jeter,
Scott, like Spike Lee, all those guys are brand Jordan guys.
That's right. Well, Jay, can you help me get some Travis Scott Jordans?
Man, good luck. We all in the lottery for that thing,
I
brother.
have the sneaker app about to break my phone. And then they want to send me, I was telling Chris, they sent me the thing. Here's your year in sneakers. A bunch of L's. You don't need to send me a story for that. I know myself.
Got
the Detroit Pistons in the sneaker lottery.
That's right. I don't want to see that, man. The Kobe's too.
Oh man, the reverse Grinches.
I got the quickest L on that. Man.
I got the L with you, bro.
I'm done.
Man, you the Pistons, and I'm the Charlotte Hornets.
That's
We
right.
struggling
We're
here.
going back to back, dude. Hey, here's your year.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't get much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
that's incredible.
That makes sense. You know, Stephen A. there doing his thing in his varsity jacket. That was
what kind of conversations are going on?
That's what
in
I'm
that
saying.
box?
I mean, Travis Scott, I mean, he just, you know, he was standing next to Derek Jeter. I need to be a fly on the wall.
He already doesn't talk, so I can't imagine. I mean, all of those, with the exception of Steve, I guess Stephen A. probably just filled the room, but like, I feel like none of those dudes talk. Like Jeter has always been super hesitant to, lay it all out there.
He just started doing the post games and Big Papi. He's not really laughing with Big Papi. It reminds me of.
And I don't know what you even like. What common ground does any human have with Michael Jordan?
Well, I could say something, but. You know, friends that do it,
There you
very
go.
similar to fantasy.
There you go.
Right, fantasy football and things like that. Those type of things,
Sure.
I think somebody could, somebody could have something in common.
Stephen A. is
with
not
Michael
letting
Jordan.
anybody get a word in.
No, but
There's
it
no way.
reminds me of the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where they make Larry. He has to sit in the middle of the table because I forget the term they use, but hey, Larry, no, you're a middle guy. Because you pull in everybody to the
connector.
conversation,
Yeah.
he has to sit in the middle, and somebody else is already sitting there. And they say, "Hey, you got to switch with Larry." And the guy goes, "But I'm a middle guy. I can be a middle guy. Can I sit in the middle?" They're like, "No, Larry's got to be the middle guy for this dinner." So I'm sure Stephen A. was the middle guy in that situation. As we discuss the middle of the season that we are approaching as we get closer to the trade deadline and All-Star weekend. And the question is, Siakam. It has been reported that he told the Kings straight up, Travis Scott straight up, he told the Kings that he would not re-sign with them. And the Kings said, okay, well, Raptors, you're not getting a Malik Monk. You're not getting a Keegan Murray. You definitely not getting any of those guys if this guy's saying this. And that is what led to stalling those conversations. I wonder if it was a specific Kings thing because it got so close. I wonder if this happened on Friday.
Yeah.
All things we'll never know, and we don't even know. It's all sources, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening, or we don't
It could
know.
have literally. I would not be surprised if Alvin Gentry on that Raptor game. Literally, we saw him on the floor. Wouldn't surprise me if Alvin Gentry just turned around and said, "Pascal, you want to sign here?" No, okay.
Yep.
And it wouldn't because it's like because I don't know how else these things get found out. Like I know it's technically illegal. It would be tampering
That's
for the
what I'm
Kings
saying.
to officially reach out. So and it had to have been through some back channels, whether it be agents or whether it be a friend of a friend, or, hey, I know somebody who's in that organization. Maybe we can just kind of get his feelers, or maybe it even is just feelers. Maybe Pascal hasn't said anything definite, but just I think I'm just going to continue to explore my options. Like, it could have just been something vague like that everyone's just kind of read into it however you will.
Well, and the main thing for me is that it had already been reported that Pascal was going to try out free agency. Yep. So either that's not specifically true, and he was only going to try out free agency if he got traded to somewhere that he
that's
didn't
almost
want to
a leverage point
with
so
Sacramento.
That Kings and the OKCs of the world don't get any ideas.
It's his way of, there's not a no trade clause,
the market.
So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not going to resign. Now, I don't know where Pascal wants to go. I heard a lot, and we spoke with somebody from the Raptors last week. I heard a lot that he wants to stay in Toronto.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is a mess. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to be a part of it if I'm the Kings. If I'm a part of the Kings, number one, and number two, even just from the actual play, right? Is there a little redundancy there? Pascal Siakam does not stretch the floor. He does not shoot threes.
Right.
He's a mid-range god, but he does not shoot threes. So what does that do to playing him and Sabonis?
Right.
I'm sure it could work. I'm not saying it wouldn't. But on top of all this stuff, you have to try to convince him to stay. You have to make sure it works in a short amount of time.
And you better have success this year.
And you better have success this year.
The last thing that's going to help with your Pascal Siakam further negotiations is if you guys get eliminated in the first round. Really, the only thing the Kings could do if they do trade for Pascal to make him want to stay more is win games, whether that be, running some crazy end to the regular season. Maybe they go whatever. They only have 6 losses from getting Pascal on, or making the second or third round. Like that to me is the only way that you could convince Pascal to stay, because I think everything else he's just going to say, I'll just look at my options. I'll at least explore free agency, and the Kings would own his bird rights if they trade for him, so they could sign him to a bigger contract than anyone else, but he could still be at liberty to sign with whoever he wants, realistically.
Ultimately, the Angels said that they weren't trading Ohtani. But could you imagine if Ohtani, in his heart of hearts, I mean, we knew it. We knew he wanted to say West Coast. The guy's a superstar. We were pretty sure he was going to go to the Dodgers, but we wanted to convince ourselves otherwise. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Yeah, just based on when the Giants were in the playoffs, whether it was the Blue Jays, some connections there. And before the Angels said, hey, we're not willing to trade him because they thought they'd look crazy, which in hindsight, maybe they should have. Somebody was going to look crazy because the Angels, they gave it their old college try. He moved forward. It is what it is. But then you have, if the Giants had made that move, that was the gamble you couldn't take. Right? And Pascal Siakam is not Shohei Ohtani. But the idea of, if we trade for Ohtani and we convince him and we go on a run, maybe he'll stay. How often does that actually work? That man was always going to try out free agency, because who doesn't like getting wined and dined and recruited? The transfer portal, these kids are doing it every single year. People like it. Tell me how much you like me. Tell me. I was just talking to a buddy, and my buddy doesn't want to leave his job. He's very happy there, but he entertained somebody else because he wanted that leverage. Hey, you're going to make me a director. You know what I mean? I want them to make me a director, so I'm going to take this other company as far as I can in the process and say, hey, guys, I'm not going ultimatum here, but I got people looking for me in a higher position with better pay and a better situation. So what's it going to be? So I think that the Giants maybe knew, we can't compete with the Dodgers. We're not going to trade and then just get burned and lose all of our recruits. And it's the same situation that the Kings are in. We can't sit here now and give up something when Pascal, even before the report came out, we already knew he was going to test out free agency. Now there's a report that he straight up told the Kings. So it's dead.
I mean,
it's dead.
And you know what, your situation, bringing up baseball is perfect, because the situation this reminds me of, I'm sorry, Jay, back there, John Lester to the A's. Like, isn't that exactly what happened with John Lester, where the A's were kind of like, hey, we need to kind of make an all-in move here. And maybe we're sacrificing something we shouldn't, but ultimately we need to get a guy like John Lester in here to even have a chance. And then what ended up, did made the playoffs, but they got kicked in the wild card or got kicked out early. It ended up.
Why would you bring that up?
I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry.
Why would you bring that up?
I'm so sorry.
You know what happened? The A's were up 4 runs, and John Lester gave it up. That's what happened.
And then left.
I'm sorry.
And then dipped.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Ice cream cone.
I'm so
he dipped.
sorry, bro.
Straight Baskin Robbins, man. You gonna bring that up?
I'm so sorry.
You know what,
but
man?
That's a cautionary tale. That's what I bring it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fact of the matter is, the A's blew it. John Lester blew it. But I hear where you guys are going.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. Don't bring John.
I'm sorry.
Lester
That's
up
my
there.
bad. That's so my bad.
That's so terrible.
By the way, I think you saw, what was it, the Oakland Ballers?
Yeah.
Did you see that? So the A's have blocked the Oakland Ballers from playing in the Coliseum. Right. And I don't even know how the A's can do that, by the way.
I think they still technically have the lease until 25 is over.
Okay.
So I think I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, that's what it is. And so they still have
that is so
some jurisdiction over who uses the field, even though obviously they're not going to be using it long term.
Well, what I saw was that it was possible that it is possible the reason the A's didn't allow them to is because they didn't want people rallying and 20,000 people showing up, and the A's looking like they have egg on their face, which they always do.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Wow, if the A's look stupid.
Right, exactly.
Wow, there's no way.
And we will have some updates for you, obviously, the closer we get to the summer, because I've seen reports about the Vegas situation, and this thing isn't over yet.
No, it sure is.
Okay, we honestly wish it is, because I don't see them coming back to Oakland, but the A's actually getting to Vegas, it's not
a guarantee. Yet. It's definitely not a guarantee.
Yeah, very botchy, if you will, and I'm not talking about bocce ball. As we begin to preview the Detroit Pistons, and like we said, no Cade Cunningham, no Monty Morris, no Isaiah Stewart, no worries.
I hope not. I mean, realistically, no. I mean, there shouldn't be any worries. Like, this is a Pistons team that is terrible. And even when they were on their losing streak and competing with teams, it was because Cade Cunningham got to a point where he was playing out of his mind, trying to end this losing streak. And if they don't have Cade, they don't have Monty Morris, who's a decent backup point guard, like, they really don't stand a chance. Like, unless, like, they're going to have Alec Burks probably have a big night. Shoot, man, we might see some Marvin Bagley tonight. It wouldn't surprise me. Bojan Bogdanovic obviously is an offensive weapon, but I mean, realistically, there's not a universe out there where the Kings should lose on a night like tonight. Realistically, I don't even know who are the Pistons' 3 wins against. I mean, obviously the slump buster was the Raptors team that had just made the OG trade, so it was a team that was already, lesser than what they typically are. There are 2 wins on the season: the Charlotte Hornets and the Chicago Bulls.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. Yep.
The Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets and the Chicago Bulls. And it's been said before, but the Pistons were 2-1 to start the season.
In 2 games, the Kings are going to play the worst team in the league, and one of the 3 teams that the worst team in the league beat, which also beat the Kings. We'll leave that part out.
We'll leave that part out. Yes.
I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear they kicked our behinds.
Got to be a combined 45 points.
If they kicked our behinds either of these games, we're going to have a problem.
We're going to have a big problem.
Got to get to
a massive problem.
Got to get to a break, continuing to break down the Pistons versus the Kings. Also, we will discuss the Ringer as they update their top 100 list. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. discussing the Detroit Pistons versus the Sacramento Kings. Chris Beerman, who joined us at 11, going to be in Detroit. So Detroit pizza, okay?
Yeah.
Detroit
It's a thing,
pizza.
right?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And now, off the top of my head, I'm forgetting the difference between deep dish and Detroit. It's something with the crust. It's something with the crust that is slightly different. They're both.
It's rectangular also.
It's rectangular, yes. It's a rectangular pizza with thick, crisp, chewy crust. It is traditionally topped to the edges with mozzarella. So they kind of burn the cheese type of deal. So yeah, that is Detroit style pizza.
Interesting. Okay. And I know, because I know like Little Caesars is massive over there, and I think they do a Detroit style pizza over at Little Caesars, which is the only time I had ever heard.
You never heard of Detroit style pizza?
Never had heard of Detroit style pizza.
Isn't the difference is rectangular?
That's what I'm seeing.
I thought it was like because it's rectangular, the way the actual pizza is cut. And I kind of what you're saying is it's a little crispier. If I'm not mistaken. Every time I go to the D, it's crispier.
Yes.
And it's in a rectangle.
Right. It's in a rectangle, and they kind of burn burn it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like they crisp the cheese up on the side. So yeah, get you some Detroit style pizza. Chris has never heard of it before, but you're not the only one. The last time Detroit came up for some reason, I think there are a lot of people saying, I didn't know Detroit had their own.
No, you could coin your own style of pizza.
Well, anybody can coin anything,
I guess.
So get you some Detroit style pizza, as the Kings are hopefully going to be enjoying some after a W. I have here, Chris, who has the most, though the Pistons have 3 wins.
They sure do.
Okay. Who has the most losses in an NBA
36
season?
games. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The 72, 73, 76ers have the record for most losses in an NBA season. You want to guess how many losses they had?
Most losses in a season. Let's say, we'll say 70. 70 losses. I'll say they went 12-70.
They had 73 losses.
Whoa. Yo, what year was that you said?
72, 73.
Man. Okay. Well, that's way back, which is maybe even worse because the league was a lot smaller back then. So the talent was a little bit more confined. Like the Lakers had like 6 Hall of Famers just on their team, and yikes. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's terrible.
That's not good. Terrible. I am looking.
That's got to be. You said that's the worst NBA record of all time. It would have to be, right? I mean,
that is the worst NBA record of
some
all
of those
time.
process Sixers got really close.
Yeah. So that is what we're working with, and I don't think. I mean,
I guess they're kind of on pace for that, right? If they're at 3 wins through 36, you double that. That's 6 through 72.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's about on pace for 8 and 82.
So a team is bad when you are on NBA.com and I'm looking at net rating, and it's much easier for me to click on net rating, so it shows worst to best instead of scrolling all the way down to the Pistons. The Pistons are 29th in net rating. In defensive rating, they are 27th. And in offensive rating,
I believe they're also 20.
They are also 27.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad team. Like, I mean, you know, it's a team that has 3 wins. They're not good at anything. Like, there really isn't a thing that the Detroit Pistons specifically do well. Like, they're not a team that takes a lot of threes, so they're not a team that's going to get a lot of variance in their outcomes. Like, they're scoring a ton of twos in a game that's become increasingly 3-point heavy, and they don't get to the line a ton. They're just, I mean, they're a bad team, and it's crazy that they can't figure out, and it's kind of what we were talking about in the crosstalk. I just can't figure out why this team, who again paid Monty Williams the most of any coach in the NBA,
right?
How they can't figure out how to just be scrappy, be a 10-win team. No one's saying y'all got to be in the play-in race, but just don't be historically bad.
Yeah, and I don't understand the idea of giving Monty Williams the bag like that, because how often, if we're being honest, how often when you're taking a job like that, aren't you kind of taking that job under the understanding of, I'm probably going to get this team to respectable. We're going to flat out, right? We're going to reach our apex, and we're going to hit our ceiling, and then they're going to let go of me, and somebody's going to take them to the next level.
Well,
like, how often do you go from literally the basement all the way to the top? It just takes too long.
Maybe that's why Monty took the money. He was like, look, this is a situation where I know it's not going to, in 3 years, we're probably going to be, hopefully not in this situation, but we're not going to be competing for titles in 3 years. So if I'm going to be here, and I don't know if y'all can say you can sign me to a 5-year deal. It might be 2 years. It might be 3 years. Shoot, if I'm going to be coaching a 3-36 team, which was not what Monty, I think, signed up for, then I better be getting bagged out for it. I better get paid a lot of money to watch these games. And I think, you know, I think if anything, it's just good negotiating on Monty Williams to prop himself up, because frankly, like you said, that's Greg Popovich money. That's Steve Kerr money that you're paying him. And Les Monty, he turned that Suns team from a team in 2020 that was completely out of the playoffs to a team, I think 2 years later, or maybe even the next season, made the NBA Finals. But he does not have the same pull as Greg Popovich or Steve Kerr. Even Doc Rivers, I think, would make some more sense. But the Monty Williams thing came out of nowhere. And I think we're seeing that, you know, again, Monty Williams, good coach, but not worth $10 million. And he's not going to prop up your franchise just because he's there.
No. And, you know, I think that's exactly what we're talking about. If you're going to a bad company, okay, and you're leaving Google or Apple or wherever, you're gonna have to cash me out if you want to have this conversation. And I think
because Monty could have gone to the Bucks or something. Like, there were some good openings. The Raptors were some good openings this offseason. Sixers. It's just, I mean, I think he signed quickly too. So like fast, not Emmanuel quickly.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think it probably was something like that where he was like, if you want to get me over here, you better show me some respect.
And maybe at the same time, the Pistons are thinking of it as a sunk cost. We know he's probably not going to last a duration.
Right.
But to be fair, I also, to your original point, I don't think Monty didn't think he'd be coaching a 3-win team.
This bad.
I don't think the organization thought that they'd be at 3 wins. So then it becomes, well, is it Monty's fault or is it the players' fault?
When you all got 3 wins and 33 losses, it's everybody's fault. Okay, nobody can say, hey, don't come my way. Don't look at me.
Yeah, and then there was the weird thing as we get to a break with Jaden Ivey. He wasn't playing.
Yeah,
Jaden
I guess
Ivey.
They don't have a good relationship.
And now, it's okay. Let's sign somebody, and then you're going to beef with one of our most recent draft picks.
Yeah,
that sounds like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that's why they're 3-33.
Yeah, got to get to a break. When we get back, the Ringer updates their top 100 list. Also, Sean Cunningham talked on the morning show about the rumor mill regarding the Kings making a move. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings begin their 5-game road trip tonight in Detroit.
Malik drives and hooks the pass. Sabonis hammers it home. Kings regain the lead.
It's the Kings and Pistons today at 4 on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
New year, new you. And what better way to start fresh than with a new ride from Elk Grove Kia? Nothing beats second. Whether it's a second shot at love, a second shot at life, or even seconds at the all-you-can-eat buffet. But when it comes to your next car, no one believes more in second chances than Elk Grove Kia. bankruptcies, challenged credit? No problem. Our finance department specializes in turning challenges into triumphs. We guarantee no one does challenged credit better than us. Elk Grove Kia can get you into a new ride in 2024. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of combined experience. Elk Grove Kia's team can navigate even the most challenging credit pasts. We understand that life happens, and we're here to help you move forward in a brand new Kia. So don't wait any longer when you could be enjoying 2024 in a brand new Kia. Head over to Elk Grove Kia today in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or visit elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance awaits. New year, new you, new ride. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install the new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
I'm Craig Ashton of the Injury Law Firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Book your free T-check and free exam at Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Now also offering affordable, cutting-edge weight loss medications. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th. Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And Chris just found a interesting stat about the Kings. You want to get into that?
Yeah, very strange. I'm just in a group message with all my friends, and one of my friends sent, I'm not ready to give up on Kevin Huerter, and he sent the this is actually a tweet from Omer Khan, who works at or works with the Kings Herald, put out the 5-guard lineup. I'm sorry, the 5-player lineup, plus minuses and the net ratings and everything of the top lineups in the NBA. And it has the Kings' former starting lineup of Harrison Barnes, Sabonis, Fox, Huerter, and Keegan Murray as the the 6th highest net rating of every lineup used in the NBA this season. So I looked up, okay, I was just wondering how much of that is Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes being propped up by being in a lineup with De'Aaron Sabonis and Keegan Murray. And so I looked up what are the best 3-player lineup combinations. And sitting at number 1 in the NBA in terms of net rating, the best 3-player lineup in the NBA, 74 total minutes, 11 games played. I swear I don't even remember these 3 players ever stepping on the floor together, but apparently they played 74 minutes. Trey Lyles, Malik Monk, and Kevin Huerter have a combined net rating of 41.8, offensive rating of 146.4, and a defensive rating of 104.6. So every time those 3 are out on the floor together, apparently magic has happened. And that's your interesting stat for today.
Huh.
Yeah. That's something.
And that's 2 guys who are coming off the bench.
3 guys. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So don't know what that's about, but apparently we need to see a lot more Trey, Monk, and Huerter lineups.
3 untouchables.
Yeah. 3 untouchables. Right there.
3 untouchables. Yep. Wow. That is
De'Aaron a part of the core 4? That's the question.
Right. Can you package? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Let's not get that. Let's not even get that sound out there.
No. I am just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, that is Monk isn't surprising.
Right.
And Trey Lyles has played really, really well.
Right.
But yeah, Kevin Huerter is a bit surprising. Maybe I'm just too low on Kevin Huerter.
Maybe. I mean, I think overall, everyone at this moment in time is too low on Kevin. Like I said, he's not hitting shots. So this is quite literally the worst he's going to look and the worst he has looked in his entire NBA career. So you really want to sell a dude at his lowest value. Just in general, not a good value proposition. You probably want to, get him going a little bit more so his value gets a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, it feels like Kevin he's just had a really weird season. And so I really don't even know how to properly, because I can't say you're wrong for saying that he might have, all of this might have not been fool's gold, but maybe he's been overstated as a player. Because again, I feel like we've watched Kevin now for a season and some change, and he's a great shooter, fantastic shooter, but I don't really know what other high-level NBA skills he has.
Right. That's you
got to bring something. Everybody's got to bring something else. Like everybody, it's not just Kevin Huerter, but I mean, it's a question with everybody, but specifically with Kevin. I mean, yeah, when you're talking about long-term fit and a dude potentially being in the starting lineup for when you are trying to compete, like you got to think about what else can this guy give us if something's being taken away from him.
Well, here's the thing. Most starters, and earlier on in the show, if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining. If you've been rocking with us, thank you for rocking. In the Sac chat, we see you. And also text line, the calls as well. I just feel like on championship teams, there aren't a lot of starters that only do one thing.
Right.
And if they only do one thing, they are elite. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say at Kevin's best, he is an elite shooter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But if you go cold and you literally don't do anything else, I know he can rebound. Sure. I know he can defend to some degree. It gets
and he's
tough.
Tall. He's 6'6", 6'7", so he provides he's not a negative in the height department.
Everybody has a role, but you bleed into other championship teams bleed into other roles just because you're well-rounded.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even looking at you look at the Nuggets and you see Aaron Gordon. Right. If Aaron Gordon was completely useless offensively, they don't win last season. You know what I mean? Even though he's a defensive guy, he can hit some corner threes from you, and he can do the lob threat. He can do some of those things. You have Michael Porter Jr., who, he's
probably the most one-dimensional of their guys, but even then,
he's got length.
That dude's a bucket.
Yes, and he's a bucket, and you have to respect him with that gravity. Honestly, from what I'm seeing, Kevin Huerter isn't even pulling gravity anymore, right? And we ask Coach Mike Brown all the time about, hey, you're going to try to get somebody going today? And he says it's all just going to come within the flow of the offense, besides get the horn set or things like that. So if you're not even pulling gravity because you're not hitting shots and you don't even have the cachet, again, you're only 25 years old.
Yeah.
You don't have the gravity of Steph Curry, who could go 0 of his last 30 and you're still pulling people. You don't even have the gravity of a Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is they're just now starting to make a decision. And the decision is still between Klay and Steph.
Right.
If it was Klay and anybody else, Klay could still be over whatever. Now, these are Hall of Famers, and I'm not trying to compare Kevin Huerter, but these championship teams that we see, their starting lineups are just dynamic, right? And
I mean, look what Boston's got going on. I mean, that might be too extreme of an example, but like you need to provide. I mean, a lot of teams, like shooting is great to have on your team, but it shouldn't necessarily be something that's like hyper valued the way it feels like it is with this Kings team. It feels like, you would be better off having somebody who can shoot, can knock down threes. There's tons of people who aren't considered elite level shooters, but still shoot 37, 38% and provide something else. Like, again, I'm stuck on Alex Caruso. I still think he would be the perfect fit. Caruso's a guy who can hit threes, but he's also mainly there to muck it up, play great defense. And if you need him to hit a shot, he can. And that's more the role that I think the Kings would be better suited for, is getting somebody who can shoot. They're a plus shooter, but it's not the only thing to do. It's probably not even the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of that player. And unfortunately, I do think they have too many guys right now where the first thing you think of is shooting. And if you try and think of a second thing, it's going to take you a while.
Right. And Harrison Barnes is honestly he's the anti one-way player. Harrison Barnes' problem is he does nothing extraordinarily well.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's not
Swiss Army knife, master of nut.
He's a dull Swiss Army knife. Yeah. That's what no, he is. That's what Harrison Barnes is. You got to put some elbow grease if you want to cut. You're outside, you just finished fishing, okay? Because I'm gonna get into it.
You're
right?
Trying.
I'm telling you, and it's hard to fillet the fish as well as you can, because
tell me about that.
You need to get it. You need to resharpen the knife, right? But that is what Harrison Barnes is. So that's what you're dealing with the Kings. You got guys that are one-dimensional, and you have guys who do some things kind of well. Besides your two-star, because honestly, I mean, I guess Keegan, he is in the elite category, but
for sure.
He's getting to where he needs to be defensively, but he's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's the other thing that's probably he's going to be asked to do is play defense. And I still don't think he's going to be asked to play make, but maybe make some of, create for himself, I think is going to be what he's going to be asked to do. But even Keegan, I think right here, right now, actually he has improved really significantly at the defensive end. It feels like Keegan to that point used to be somebody who was super one-dimensional as well.
And that's what they dealt with last season.
Yeah.
And now,
but they're trying to be better. Like, that's the thing.
They are.
They're not. I mean, like, you want to be better. Like, you're trying to be better. And so if you're going to try and be better, everybody needs that. It can't just be Keegan. It's got to be Kevin's got to add to the defensive end of the floor as well.
De'Aaron Fox. I've heard a lot about how, look, and I'm just going to be honest here. Okay. You know where I come from, I'm from the Bay, and I've adopted a lot of this stuff as far as Sacramento and the Kings, but I feel like we're wearing some purple lenses as far as De'Aaron Fox defensive. I'd have to look up the actual defensive rating,
right?
But where I'm putting De'Aaron Fox into the category of is the category of E for effort. He gives good effort on defense, but do I think De'Aaron Fox is a true blue two-way guard right now? I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can rock with you on that for sure. I've
he
always
tries.
kind of said that it's been a little bit overstated. Yeah, I think he tries, and I think he gives good effort. And I think where it's gotten to is he's definitely not a negative defender. I think there's so many elite scorers in this league who are just straight negatives. I mean, whether it be Trae Young, even John Morant, even Tyrese Halliburton, Luka, absolutely. There's so many high-level scorers who just only give it on that end of the floor. At the very least, like you're saying, De'Aaron's given the effort. I don't know if all the time it's there. I don't, sometimes I think he takes some risk with some steals, and, sometimes, you are going to have to conserve some energy for the offensive end. And we've talked about that, especially recently with him being possibly bruised up. Like, is it still in this team's best interest for him to take that kind of responsibility? But I would say De'Aaron's not a negative, but I definitely have said in the past, I feel like the two-way aspect of De'Aaron, he works on it, and he's definitely getting better and more impactful on the defensive end. But I wouldn't say, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like leading the NBA in steals by pretty much a full steal per game. So he's not on the excellent, oh my God, elite two-way guys in the league right now.
You did say that to start the season because that was a lot of the growth. It was De'Aaron's threes and De'Aaron's defense.
Yeah.
And essentially you've been 1 for 2, which ain't bad. It is not bad at all. And because I'm coming into the situation I just want to see. And there was a lot of, De'Aaron and Coach Mike Brown has said it in post games and in pre games. He's a two-way guy. I'm thinking he's a two-way effort guy, which is better than certain other guards in the league. But I don't think that De'Aaron is elite defensively. But he's trying. To your point, Keegan is trying. De'Aaron is trying. And when we look at Sabonis, I think if we're going down the list here, I would say Sabonis, he takes the jump shots at the most random times. You know what I mean? When you don't think he's going to take it, he takes it. And when you do think he's going to take it, he gives the half-hearted pump fake that nobody is. That is the Boogie Cousins meme. Just nobody is moving there. And I'm just going down the list of all these guys, and everybody can continue to improve. But some of the issues seem to be a bit more glaring. And I think the biggest thing is that these issues will still be around even with a trade. So these guys got to keep doing. If they make a trade for Pascal Siakam, and like we've said, a lot of times it doesn't happen the first season. It happens that next season after you play together. Let's say Pascal does stay just for fun. If Keegan doesn't continue to improve, they're not winning. Keegan is still just as important as any move they make.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. His development. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I would say from De'Aaron and his free throws, Sabonis and his free throws, there's a lot of work to be done. So that's why, again, bringing it back to Monty McNair, he has to make a decision based on what do we really feel like we have with this team?
No, I mean, it's a tough question. To the De'Aaron point as well, him being a two-way, I do wonder how much bringing in a guy if they do end up bringing in that quote-unquote third star, what that does for his two-way game. Because you could argue that, you take away some of the offensive responsibility away from De'Aaron. Maybe that is something that helps him unlock that two-way potential even more, because if you don't have to rely so much on De'Aaron having the ball in his hands or creating for everybody else, well, then maybe he really can start to put a little bit more effort into the defensive end. And maybe if somebody is super trustworthy and able to perform in clutch situations, you could even see some clutch defensive moments from De'Aaron instead of him, again, going into kind of superhero mode and trying to save the team in a lot of fourth quarters.
That's a great point. Swiper, he swipes to victory. Yeah. There you go.
Could be.
The Sacramento Swiper. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, the Ringer updates their NBA Top 100 list. And in about 15 minutes, we will talk to Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast to talk all things Detroit. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like saddling up and chasing down.
Look at that sweet moolah!
That big old cash cow.
Look at all that money!
File for free with TaxSlayer Simply Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
The new year is here at Folsom Lake Kia. Shop my favorite dealer, Folsom Lake Kia, for low interest rates, low payments with zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia for over 25 years right here in Sacramento.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Bryce Simon of Motor City Sports and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast in about 15 minutes to talk Detroit basketball with Bryce. We have the Ringer, which has updated the top 100 list. And long story short, they have Sabonis at number 22. And they have De'Aaron Fox at number 15.
15. How about that?
I think that's pretty darn good for both of them.
Yeah, and they have timelines on here of like where they've been in the past. In 2022, De'Aaron was 17. 22-23 season, I should say. To start the season in October, they had him at 17. He rose to 15, it looks like, in early December, and he's since stayed there, and Sabonis at 22 has gone from 20 at the end of last year to 24 at the start of this year, went up to 21 in December and went down to 22 right now. So just a little bit of movement, and that's the Kings' only 2 players.
Only 2 players. I just went through the top 10, and I'm here at the top 11. You got to get to top 12, right? So out of the top 10, how many do you think are in the Eastern Conference?
2.
3 with Tatum.
Tatum. Yeah, I was like, I know Giannis is in there. I assume Embiid's in there. Even Tatum's.
And then you get to, and then out of 12, you have 4 out of 12 because they have Tyrese Halliburton at 12.
Goodness gracious. I mean, yeah, it's no secret, but yeah, I mean, the Western Conference is just, it's loaded, man. And, you know, you look at the top of the East, and, you know, Boston's a terrifying team. Philly definitely is worse than I mean, talent wise, I would say they're worse than they were last year without having James and relying solely on Maxey and Embiid. Like, they feel a little bit more gettable. You look at the West, it's a bloodbath, and still nobody has really completely separated themselves, but it just feels like everybody on any given night could give you an incredibly difficult night, including the Kings. The Kings are on that list too.
That's right. I'm fairly surprised at some of these. Ja Morant being 21, Jamal Murray being 19, and Ja Morant being 21, I did not see coming. I don't know if I even saw Jalen Brunson being ahead of Ja Morant coming as well. Paul George makes sense. He's at 24. I'm just seeing some of the notables. I have Bam Adebayo. He is 18. I'm not a huge Bam guy personally. Anthony Edwards at 17, slightly surprising. I could see that.
14 to 17.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, I got a chip on my shoulder. Damian Lillard at 16. As we mentioned, De'Aaron Fox at 15.
Okay. This list is
what's the problem?
Derek White, fine player, great team guy, great glue guy. He's listed at 35. And they have Paolo Banchero at 44. And Paolo Banchero dipped too. He went from 48 at the start of the season up to 43 in December. Now sitting at 44.
Oh, hold on.
We just saw Paolo go crazy the other night.
No, I hear you, but you're talking about Paolo. Derek White is 35, and the most touted trade piece in the history of Toronto Raptors and the NBA. Pascal Siakam's at 36.
36, right.
So
sandwiched in between. So Pascal Siakam sandwiched in between Desmond Bane and Derek White.
I mean,
and that's a guy, and you know, and Lauri Markkanen's right above all of those guys. He's at 34. So I mean, when we're talking about shipping off this is what I was talking about earlier. When we're talking about shipping off Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and Davion Mitchell, and maybe picks for a 3-month rental of a dude who's 30 now, 36 is nothing to shy at. Derek White's sick, man. He's been one of the best players all year. Lauri Markkanen, I mean, one of the best glue guys all year, I should say. Desmond Bane had a great start to the season, but I mean, if we're talking about a dude who's in that tier of player and you're giving up all that the Kings would have to give up for that, you just got to think about it. Because again, I don't think Pascal and we had Sean of Locked On Toronto again on earlier last week, I guess, on Friday, and he even said like Pascal's cool, but I don't know if he's really changing the Kings into a Western Conference finalist. And to me, if you're going to send all that stuff off for a non-guarantee, I'm going to need at least like they should be in that conference. I mean, I still would say they should be in there, but I don't know. It's not nearly a guarantee enough for me to ship all that off.
Well, if you are interested in what it would look like, our own Brendan Nunez, who we will be a part of our Kings Roundtable tomorrow, as always, Brendan Nunez, Sactown Sports Kings Insider. This is from his X quick thread on some of what Pascal Siakam could bring to Sacramento, primarily offensive clips. And they are coming for an article that he posted based on an article that's coming later today. And his number one is, just imagine the transition game with the clip with Fox, Sabonis, and Siakam running the floor while Murray, Huerter, and Monk space the corners. Number 2, while his shooting can be up and down, he often makes intelligent cuts to make up for that. I'd bet Fox, Sabonis, and Monk would quickly reward him for these, and it's a clip of him cutting to the basket. And when he doesn't settle for the shot, he drives well off the catch. Number 3, he's a dynamic PNR DHO player as well, effective as both the screener and ball handler. Helps that he's a mismatch for plenty of players, often too quick and shifty for bigs and too much size for the smaller wing guards. And last but not least, and number 4, he's made a significant leap as a passer over the last few seasons. Imagine the dynamic playmaking with Fox, Sabonis, Monk, and Siakam on the floor together. He's currently averaging 5 assists per game, which is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
For example, I believe Malik Monk is around 5-ish as well, and you know what he can do with Sabonis. So, look, you can make arguments both ways, but the argument isn't to bring in Siakam. The argument is what it would cost. And the argument is what it would cost based on him being a rental. Yep. So if the Raptors aren't willing to lower the price now that this has leaked that Siakam told the Kings, then it's kind of a moot point. Read Brendan's article for sure.
For sure.
When it comes out later today. But it could be kind of a moot point because what are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, yeah. And from what Sham said the other day, the only way this thing reignites is if Toronto comes back to the Kings. The Kings are, from what all the reporting is, are not going to be the ones to initiate that conversation. And so that means that, the Raptors are going to have to come to the Kings table with some humble pie and say, all right, I know we said last time, whether it was Malik or whatever, the picks or Keegan was too much. All right, we're willing to take X, Y, Z, and you don't have to give us everything that you said that we talked about before. And even then,
the Kings are still interested.
And you know what? At that point, the Kings too might have some leverage. And the conversation should, if Toronto is coming back to the Kings, that tells you that Toronto probably exhausted every option they had and are now going back to the deal that they felt like was almost there. And if that's the case, I would hope Monty McNair recognizes that and says, oh, how funny to see you here again. Didn't think I'd be seeing you. Well, sounds to me like you now need us, because before it was you needed to ship Pascal off. Sounds to me like we can maybe work something out, and maybe you can find yourself a nice little deal. I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that Pascal could go for less than what I think what Masai said a couple of years ago and what we all expected to go for, because I don't think anyone's going to be willing to send off a lot if no one's going to get any guarantees. Even Golden State, I don't think they're going to send off Jonathan Kuminga and Moody even if they can't get a guarantee from Siakam.
Not as a rental, but maybe Golden State feels differently because of Steph and the core 3 and that pedigree. Who knows? Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will talk to Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast, talking all things Pistons, Stiles, and Watkins. Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
California's largest Sportsman's Expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Buy the latest gear, meet the experts, learn about fishing, hunting, boating, and off-roading. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. This is the place to discover your next adventure, nearby or around the world. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
New year, new you. And what better way to start fresh than with a new ride from Elk Grove Kia? Nothing beats second, whether it's a second shot at love, a second shot at life, or even seconds at the all-you-can-eat buffet. But when it comes to your next car, no one believes more in second chances than Elk Grove Kia. Bankruptcies, challenged credit, no problem. Our finance department specializes in turning challenges into triumphs. We guarantee no one does challenged credit better than us. Elk Grove Kia can get you into a new ride in 2024. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of combined experience. Elk Grove Kia's team can navigate even the most challenging credit pasts. We understand that life happens, and we're here to help you move forward in a brand new Kia. So don't wait any longer when you could be enjoying 2024 in a brand new Kia. Head over to Elk Grove Kia today in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or visit elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance awaits. New year, new you, new ride. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTK AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Closer to my dreams. Stiles and Watkins. That's what I feel like doing this show with you, Chris. You like that one? That was a good one. You weren't even listening. That was a good line. I was not.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Somebody chime in and tell Chris that was a good line that he missed. I'm not going to say it again.
I'm sorry.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's on me. We will speak with Bryce Simon in just a moment as we get you ready for the Detroit Pistons. Somebody on the Sac chat is asking, did you already talk about Ja? Yeah, it's crazy. I I haven't seen how it happened. I know I believe it was at practice, so I haven't seen a video or anything like that. What I do know is that labrums can be scary.
Sure.
And based on, kind of the baseball background, I know people that had labrum surgery.
Yeah.
My wife actually had labrum surgery from softball.
Really?
Yeah. And obviously it's different because he's not throwing a baseball.
Right. The
over
range
and
of
over
motion is a
again.
little bit different.
But you never know. Somebody said, hey, could this affect his shooting? He already wasn't a great shooter.
Right. No, it definitely can.
So, yeah, man. It is something else and just kind of a sad situation.
Yeah. Cool.
So
yeah.
we will continue to, monitor that situation.
No, and I mean, it's something that's like, a lot of the times when you think of, guys who play like Ja, you think of Derrick Rose kind of injuries where it's like, Derrick Rose tears his knee up and he's never able to really play the same. Man, Ja's in a weird way. He's been playing with fire for a while now, not necessarily with his lower body, but the way that dude falls sometimes after trying to, put people in body bags and on posters, I don't want to say this was bound to happen, but like he's been like I said, he's been playing with fire for a while. And so it might change how, it might not be shooting, but it might be, hey man, I don't know if I can attack the rim with the same kind of ferocity or recklessness as I did before. Cause I got to think about falling on my shoulder. I remember LaMelo Ball, I think in his rookie season, hurt his wrist and has kind of talked about how, it's kind of scary. You just get PTSD driving the lane and you're trying to brace your fall and all you can do is put down your hands. And so I wonder, just how it might not, I'm assuming it'll probably affect his shooting a bit, some sort of range of motion or something has to be hampered by it. But it also wouldn't surprise me if, this starts to affect how he attacks the rim, even if it's just a little bit. Cause that dude he plays with no fear at all.
Well, and look, if you're going to lose something, not to say the shoulder is not important, but we know that those legs are
much more important.
So maybe this is the warning that he needs to say, hey man, work on that jump shot, work on some different things. Like you already got the floater, you can get to the cup.
Man, look at De'Aaron too. Like De'Aaron doesn't really play above the rim anymore, right? No. Like, I mean, how often, De'Aaron's game is speed. How often do you really, maybe once, twice a game where you're like, dude, De'Aaron's going like 100% speed right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the evolution of being like a Derrick Rose, like being a John Wall, like being a Russell Westbrook is you got to understand how to pick and choose your spots. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the next evolution for Ja is you can't go 100% all the time. You can't try and put somebody in a body bag every single game. No. Sometimes it might be more impactful if you do it 5 times a season and figure out maybe how to play a little bit more below the rim. Use your athleticism instead of trying to keep going vertical. Figure out how to, like De'Aaron is somebody who's he stays in the air. He doesn't necessarily get to the top of the elevator, but man, he can get to the 5th floor and he'll stay up there for a while and kind of get creative. And maybe Ja kind of needs to transition more into that kind of phase of his career.
Yeah. All right. We are joined now by Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast. Bryce, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited. This is my first Kings radio podcast, anything like that.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to talk to you guys, and I'm sure you guys are excited to be playing the Detroit Pistons tonight.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
We already talked about this. We're going to take it easy on you because we know it's been a rough go. But let's just start here. How are you doing? How are you doing?
Hey, listen, I have a little bit of I have an easier time, so I won't get into the whole story, but I didn't start really doing the podcast, covering the team, whatever you want to call it, till December 2020. Mm-hmm. I'm not a lifelong Pistons fan. Mm-hmm. So now all I've watched is them lose over the last 4 years, but I don't have the vested interest that lifelong – I don't even live in Detroit. I live in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. So it's a little bit different for me. I just love hoops, man, so I still get to go on a podcast, talk about it weekly. And you guys may understand this, a 28-game losing streak was actually really good for content and views and people listening to the podcast. So, but it's tough, man. Like, I would love to watch a winning competitive team.
Yeah, for sure, Bryce. I mean, we've been through there as Kings fans, or in being in the area. We've sat through some bad years, so we can definitely sympathize with you, and definitely thinking about you a lot as the Pistons are going through it. Just to kind of keep it a little bit in the Sacramento sphere still, when I think a lot of Kings fans think about the Pistons, they're going to think about Marvin Bagley. And I just kind of want to know from someone who's watched the Pistons, what has kind of gone wrong with the Marvin Bagley situation there? It seems like on any given night, it's a dice roll between whether you're going to see James Wiseman or Marvin. And I mean, just again, from afar, it kind of seems like Marvin has played better. So why hasn't he been able to kind of find footing for Detroit, which is, I mean, if you can't find footing in Detroit, I don't know where you're going to find footing.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know. Like, I've been a Marvin Bagley supporter in terms of, like, I don't think he's a starting big man.
Right.
I don't even know if he's a backup big man on a good team. He may be a fifth big on a quality team. Like, he comes in and gets some buckets. You guys know as much as anybody some of the defensive limitations.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing well, guys. Like, I went on the podcast a couple weeks in a row, and he didn't lead the episode, but we're like, hey, Marvin's playing pretty well. And then all of a sudden he was out of the rotation and James Wiseman's playing.
Right.
The only thing I would say, like, they invested in Marvin, right? They traded for him and they gave him a contract. They also invested in James Wiseman, and they got to make a decision on Wiseman where Bagley's on the books for another year. Maybe they're trying to figure out what they have in Wiseman for sure, and that's why he's getting the minutes. But I don't necessarily have an answer. Monty Williams, has a great reputation as a coach. He's still figuring things out. There's been some rotational things that I'll just say that I haven't understood. I don't want to say they're wrong. I don't want to question the NBA coach. I just don't necessarily understand.
Talking to Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast. Bryce, let's stick with Monty Williams. Yeah, what is the thought on him? We were talking, Chris and I, you have 3 wins. We do blame pie on this show. Everybody gets a part of the blame pie. But what has been the initial, I guess, reception to what he's done? It feels like there was some drama with not playing Jaden Ivey. Maybe that's part of the rotational situation that you were speaking of. What is the thought on how Monty has performed so far?
I mean, I think the biggest naysayers are ready for him to already go.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, you have, hey, this roster sucks. He doesn't have a chance. And then you have the people in the middle. I think there's been decisions made that I don't agree with. And I'm a huge Jaden Ivey guy. I think Jaden Ivey's really good. Didn't understand all of that, but I'm also not in the locker room. I'm not at practice. So maybe there was a reason for all of that. So there's some of those things. But at the end of the day, guys, like, the roster isn't very good. And it was a roster that wasn't very good, that was mismanaged in the offseason. And then there was injuries on top of it. I mean, Monte Morris hasn't even played. I realize Monte Morris isn't the greatest point guard ever, but on a team that's not very good, that struggles with turnovers and three-point shooting, that guy coming off the bench wouldn't be bad. Boyan's missed time. You guys won't see Cade Cunningham tonight. So I think where I'm at, guys, is I'm just waiting to see with Monty. Like, I'm trying to trust the process, that they're going through this stuff, that he talks all the time about developing habits and doing things the right way, day in, day out, all of those things. Maybe it just had to get worse yet. Before it could start to get better. So I'm a little bit more wait and see right now.
Bryce, like you said earlier, I know that you really just pay attention to the league in total. What are your thoughts? I mean, last week talks really seemed to be ramping up between the Kings and the Raptors. What's kind of your thought on the Pascal Siakam fit here in Sacramento? Is that something that makes sense for you? And just, I mean, as a potential rental, like, what do you feel like in general teams should be willing to give up for a guy like Pascal?
Yeah, his market is weird, right? Because I was listening to those talks and I'm like, I'm not giving up Keegan Murray for Pascal, right? I mean, and nobody in Sacramento is, but then it's like, okay, what else can Sacramento put together to get Pascal? Because, right, the first round pick is still at some point conveying for
Atlanta.
Huerter.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Atlanta. My bad. And so, yeah, I don't know what you put together. I would like to see Sacramento do something. I kind of, with Harrison Barnes good, Huerter's fallen out of the starting lineup, correct? So, like, it's like, I would like to see, I like the 3. I don't know if Pascal's the perfect fit, but he's obviously a really good player. And also, because I don't know how long we're going to get on the Kings, I love Malik Monk. Like, I tweet about Malik Monk probably once a week as somebody, and I do more general NBA stuff because of the Game Theory pod. But gosh dang, that kid is good, man. That guy is good. I love watching him play. So I have another name for you. The scary thing with Pascal is, like, how much do you want to give up if he is just going to be a rental? Right. Like, what's the you guys tell me, what's the vibe? Would he re-sign in Sacramento, or would it just be for the rest of the season?
All signs are pointing to he will not commit to it. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily no, but just we'll see. And obviously, I'm sure but if you trade for Pascal, you can have his bird rights, and so you could technically sign him to more money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be the one who ends up with him.
Yep. Yeah, that's tough, man. Like, it's so scary giving up assets because I think you want to make them long-term play for sure, right?
Yeah.
If you guys, I like the Kings. I don't think adding Pascal to the roster for the rest of the season puts them squarely in, like, they're going to win an NBA championship this year, And so I would hate to give up too much. But I do think a move, I don't know if it's at the 2 or the 4 or whatever, but something there in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Is Huerter going to get moved no matter what? Like, what's the situation there?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, he possibly looks like you'll see him in the starting lineup again tonight.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe he will add value, or maybe he'll add value as a trade piece, or maybe he'll add value as a starter like he once was. But Bryce, we got to get to a break, man. But thank you so much for hopping on. Plenty of information there. And we wish you better luck for the rest of the season, just not tonight.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank Bryce.
You. That was Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast. When we get back, we are breaking down the NFL playoff matchups. What intrigues you? What does not? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-385-9302 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-385-9302. That's 800-385-9302. What do you have to lose? Call 800-385-9302. Again, 800-385-9302.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
You own a truck because you want to get the job done right. TruckSmart is your work truck headquarters. For over 35 years, they've been outfitting trucks for leading construction firms, service providers, and municipalities in the region. Truck racks, toolboxes, lighting, commercial shells, rhino lining, they've got it all. And their expert installers will get it done right the first time. So visit the truck experts at TruckSmart today with locations in Rockland and Auburn. They'll make your truck your favorite tool. TruckSmart.com.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Bring the family and discover your next adventure. Buy the latest gear, find the best destinations, learn from the experts in fishing and hunting. On the weekend, visit the Giant Youth Fair, free entry for youth 15 and under. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Thank you again to Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops and host of the Pistons Pulse podcast, who had a lot to say about the Pistons and where they are headed. Man, it's a cold world. Is there any other sports job where there isn't somebody, or there any other job where somebody isn't calling for your job within a year? Right, because Nathaniel Hackett, didn't he get hacked in a year?
Yeah. Yep. Is there any job? I mean, like, funny enough, when Beerman earlier was, it sounds like assistant GM's a pretty good job. Like, especially if you're in that situation where it sounds like Adam Peters, like if John Lynch is just going to keep that job forever, it sounds like Adam Peters pretty much does that job without the title. I mean, it sounds like he's got that job as long as he would want it. So,
right.
Or as long as Lynch is there.
Right. Do you want to level up?
Yeah.
Go to
make yourself a lot more expendable.
Go to the Raiders, and then it doesn't work out, and now you have a blemish. It's the same idea with Nick Saban. And Nick Saban, I don't feel bad for Nick Saban at all because he waited too long. Obviously, he had the original stint in the NFL and it didn't work out. And after the original stint where it didn't work out, he goes to Alabama and he runs the world. And Alabama's not done. They were in the college football playoff. But if you stay somewhere too long, things are going to change. And it's just like they say in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Bill Belichick.
Look at Bill Belichick, right? He stayed. Now that's NFL, so it's a little bit different. But with Nick Saban, you don't want to take that chance and go back to the NFL, and now you're complaining about the NIL. And now you're complaining about the transfer portal. You know what I mean? Hey, man, you're the one who decided to stay this long, and you decided to stay this long and not make that move. You can't be upset that things changed throughout the course. If you stay at a company, I'll tell you myself, I stayed there 7 years. Mm-hmm. It changed a lot. So I can sit there and complain about it, or you can say, hey, Alan, staying at a company for 7 years.
A lot of things are going to be different.
A lot of things are going to be different. Yeah. So you can either complain or you can get the heck out of there. You know what I mean? Before we get to the matchups, because I know that's not what Willie wants to do. And Willie was a little spicy last time he came on. So I'm excited to hear what Willie has to say on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. What's up, Willie? You're on Stiles Watkins. What you got for us?
Stiles Watkins, my boys, man. Y'all be analyzing like crazy. Look here, man. I'm glad I'm glad I listened to you guys' last interview with the guy from the Pistons, man. I'm glad I heard that because he said Cunningham not playing. Why isn't Cunningham playing?
Let me see here. I think it was.
Yeah, I have it here.
I think it was his knee, right?
Right. Cunningham right here. Knee, Monty Morris quad, Isaiah Stewart toe. So it's his knee. That's why he's not playing.
Yes, Cunningham, rest all you want, man, because I know he had checked that box, man. He had checked that box.
Yeah, he was playing well.
Yeah, you know he had checked that box. What, he about 6'6", 6'5"? We wouldn't have had nobody to guard him.
Willie, you don't think we have anybody to guard anybody?
No, don't stop. I'm not a hater. I just try to be real, you know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking to myself, fellas, that if they got Detroit and Bags can't wait to play him, and then you got Cunningham, if he ain't gonna play, we'll take that one. But I'm thinking, man, we got the Hornets and Philly next. I'm saying, man, we can't go 0-3 on this trip.
No way.
You know what I'm saying?
No way. Willie, I'm looking right here. Keegan is 6'8". Keegan would have locked Cunningham up, Willie. He's 6'8".
I love the Kings, man, but them boys don't play no D, man. They don't play no D, man. You know that, man. The only one who really tried to play D, but he got a couple of rings, and he's kind of on the last leg is McGee, JaVale. Hey, they got to learn how to hit people. That game against man. That game against New Orleans, I was crying. I was all cried out, man. I'm saying, are you guys going to foul somebody hard? You got to make somebody. That's why, people hate Draymond, but Draymond make the other team think about going in the paint, going in the it just, they got to foul sometimes hard. Not dirty, but they got to let people know, ain't no easy buckets here, man. No easy buckets.
I hear you, Willie. Well, hopefully we're celebrating a back-to-back win tonight with the Pistons and tomorrow night with the Hornets. There you go.
At least tonight and the Hornets, but I don't think we can deal with Embiid, man. I don't know. You think Sabonis gonna come to play?
He gonna have to. But we'll see, because that's national television.
Hey, y'all know those guys, man. Tell Sabonis, man, stop crying, man. Use your elbow. You 6'10", 6'11". Foul somebody, man.
Yeah. No, that's a good call, Willie.
Guys.
All right, Willie.
Thanks for the call, Willie.
Always a pleasure.
Well, and as we mentioned, Embiid unlikely to play tomorrow.
Right.
So whatever he's dealing with, he might not even go in Philly.
If he's actually hurt, yeah. Because I think the NBA's new investigating your rest policy really takes into effect for national TV games.
That's a good point.
They'll actually look into it. So if he's If he's actually hurt and injured, then I mean, who knows? I mean, yeah, the Kings might not see him, but something tells me that he'll be ready for national TV. I mean, that would be. I mean, again, especially with his clock kind of ticking a bit, that would turn it down to 8 games that he can miss in order to still be eligible. Something tells me he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much as far as an injury, just the report that he probably won't play. So maybe it's one of those scheduled rests. And again, for Embiid, he's probably just thinking, hey, I care more about getting that ring and being healthy than an MVP.
Yep.
And it's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed. And he's looking at his ring right now.
Yep.
Or he's not his ring. He's looking at his MVP, trophy right now, his MVP trophy right now. So yeah, this is a classic Kings situation though, because they might lose one of these games. Okay.
Sure.
Hopefully tomorrow night, which is a crazy statement, but hopefully tomorrow night, but then they might show up against the Sixers and the Bucks. That's the type of season it's been for the Kings. So if they're able to do that, then it would be hard to complain. And Jason Ross in the crossover asked us a similar question.
Yeah.
What would you take? The embarrassment of losing to these two teams and winning the next 3, or just not having the embarrassment, but losing to teams where you probably won't be favored anyway? I'll take the embarrassment. I don't care about the embarrassment.
I guess. I mean, the embarrassment would be tough to get through, though. Yeah. I mean, at least we could explain away losing to teams like the Bucks and to the Sixers. It would be really tough to lose to the Pistons and then to the Hornets on a back-to-back, and then having that mean you lost to the Hornets twice, and then having to explain, but we beat the Sixers and the Bucks, so we're a good team. It's like, well, you lost to 2 terrible teams, so how good really are
the power rankings would be very confused. I'll tell you that much. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, talking NFL playoff matchups, and we will discuss whether or not we'll have a dog segment. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. as we discuss the playoff matchups, and we will be joined by Whitey Gleason. How are you doing, Whitey? We'll give you a second to get all settled in.
Watch out for the Cleveland Browns, man. Watch out for Cleveland Browns.
I'll start with that today, Purple.
Yeah. Sleeper. Watch out.
No, I agree. If I am, of course, we are the Sacramento flagship of the Niners. So, of course, want the Niners to win. And I also want to be able to hang out in Vegas with my boy Chris. But actually, I don't have to say a but because I would love to at least have the Ravens there. And I think that the Browns, we talked about this yesterday with Emil. I think that the Browns are probably the biggest issue for the Ravens, and looking here at the.
I told Jay that yesterday. He
looking here.
I laughed in my face.
Well, looking at the match, it's the same reason Niner fans are worried about the Rams more than really any other team. It's the familiarity. Okay, and I'm looking here. I would rather face the if I'm the Ravens, I'd rather face the Texans.
Yep.
I'm not even going to mention the Steelers. The question is, I'd rather face the Dolphins, I think. Now that we've seen if the Ravens can stop the Niners offense, I'm not worried about Tua. And I would say the question is, would you rather face the Browns than Patrick Mahomes or the Bills? That's really the question.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just have a feeling about the Browns, and they defend, and Flacco is like, I don't care. I'm not even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Can't forget Flacco's done this before too. Like he's got the experience. He's kind of already playing with house money too. So it's like I can just let this thing fly. And if I suck in the play, if I throw 5 interceptions,
so what?
Everyone kind of expected that anyway. So I might as well, let it fly.
Yeah. I mean, Tampa Bay or Philly heads to Tampa Bay. It looks like they are optimistic. I was reading the Eagles are optimistic, or they're trying to be optimistic about A.J. Brown. Not just A.J. Brown. You have A.J. Brown, and then you have Devontae Smith. Oh, just their two receivers. And you have Jalen Hurts, whose finger was pointed the wrong way.
Yeah.
So that's a complete mess.
Opt out. He said, that's never happened before. I don't know.
Yeah. So you have them heading to Tampa, which I would take the Eagles, but
see, that's the problem with the Eagles. Even when they're trying not to, they're still pointing fingers, right?
Oh yeah,
right. I mean,
that's right.
That's a good one.
Are you on the train as well, Whitey? With the Rams taking? Does anybody think the Lions are going to win?
I got to stick with my boy Jay. He's scared. He's terrified. He says he's not, but he's terrified of the Rams. Terrified.
Everybody is.
They're a scary team, man.
Everybody is. They're getting healthy at the right time. Okay. Last one in the NFC, Cowboys, Packers. I mean, this would be colossal. A colossal collapse if the Cowboys lose.
It'd be Mike McCarthy-esque.
It would be old team. Maybe there's something there.
It's
but
all set up for him.
In terms of watchability,
it's happened before. I mean,
yeah,
it's a different team, but remember that year that Dallas had home field and they're playing Green Bay, and it's like that. It was Dak's first year, I think, as a full-time starter, and it whoosh, collapsed.
So in terms of the NFC, I think that Rams Detroit is the main one I'm excited to watch.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably going to be the best game. I mean, Tampa Bay, I have no faith in the Buccaneers after week 18. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot get over the fact they had to win that game against the Panthers, and at halftime it's 3-0 to the Panthers.
That really bugged you.
It's because you have to play a playoff team the following week. And if that's what you play like in a gotta have it game, what am I supposed to expect in the playoffs?
Don't sleep on
Bryce Young. You see Trevor Lawrence, he completely bottled it. At least now we don't have to watch him in the playoffs the next week. It's like I can't believe in Tampa Bay.
Also, we have in the AFC, this is where it gets a little bit spicier. I mean, not the Bills and Steelers, but of course, I just like watching the Texans play. You know what I mean? I just like watching CJ Stroud play. And of course, you just mentioned the team of destiny, the Cleveland Browns. I think that's going to be a great game. And, obviously happy for DeMeco Ryans. And then besides that, of course, probably the game of the week.
If anyone can watch it,
Chiefs, Dolphins.
It's on Peacock, so good luck.
Is that that's a Peacock?
Yes. That's the Peacock game.
Man.
Good luck. Good luck.
Why are they doing this to us?
I can't watch. I'm not paying $5 for the trial.
Why are they doing this to us? It's so funny when you talk about the cord cutting and how this was supposed to make life easier and cheaper, and it's really just worse. Dude, it's just worse.
I've been saying this for years. It's funny how life, it always ends up coming back around. At some point, we're going to say, I have my Netflix, I have my Amazon, Hulu, Peacock, Paramount. You know what would be nice? Is if I just had one thing that put this all together so I don't have to switch apps. It's just all streamlined.
Yep.
Like a box of, I don't know, if we could just put it into a box,
Roku?
Cable box or something, it's just like, it's all going to come back.
You got to pay now. Right. People will say, I'll pay the extra to not have to do this, because then it gets confusing, because then you got something, but then it's it's Hulu, but you can pay for HBO Max via Hulu, or it's
Bundle.
YouTube TV, but you can bundle it. It's just confusing, man. So that is I wonder how the numbers are. They just trying to prove a point that NFL is king, and how many people are gonna, because
I mean, for sure they're like, Peacock is, I don't know how well Peacock's doing in terms of their downloads, but they're saying, I bet you want to watch Chiefs Miami enough to, hey, do a free week trial, and I guarantee you won't cancel.
And or they're trying to get NBC to say, all right, look, you buy some of the games. Also, how about the Peacock package? We have a separate package for you. We'll have a certain number of games on Peacock exclusively. Well, what's that going to look like? I'm going to do this playoff game, and then we'll get an idea.
We can do picks later on. We don't need to do them now. It's only Tuesday. These weeks after you have the week off, I thought to myself multiple times, it's only Tuesday. Tacos. I had tacos last night, though.
Oh, well, let's see, that threw you off.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a good point. That did throw me off. I woke up thinking it was Wednesday. As we rotate on over to the NBA, you like that one, Whitey? There you go.
Loved it.
Thank you. As we rotate on over to basketball, Whitey, I've been trying to talk Chris back here the whole show who's just a little bit too nervous for my liking about this Pistons game.
Sorry.
Chris knows what he's talking about when it comes to Kings, you know? I mean, he's been living the Kings for years, so I'd listen to him.
There's a line here, and the line was the Hornets last week. That was the line.
That's what I thought.
But see, you're saying, oh, well, they can't do that again. And I'm saying if that happened, then
anything's possible.
Right.
That's where I fall.
But I'm saying
I'm not saying it should happen or it will. I'm just saying I can't say that it won't because I've already seen it happen.
But I'm saying that there's been a smoking gun in all of these situations. You had a Terry Rozier. You had a guy. Pistons don't even have a guy
that you know of yet.
By the way, Skylar Mays signed to LA. He needs to give half that check to the Kings.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like this, it should not happen. You can do the math. There's no reason why Bojan Bogdanovic, even if he scores 40, they should be able to survive. But I mean, you never ever know.
And mark my words, Killian Hayes is going to explode for 9.
Well, Jaden Ivey goes off.
He could. Hey, man, we just heard CJ McCollum the other day say, I've got something for Sacramento. They passed on me.
You didn't like that, did you?
I did. You didn't. Oh, my.
Chris didn't
like just get ready for Jaden Ivey. Same thing. They got that big shooter over there. I told my family, I was like, I'm ready to live that Sacramento lifestyle. And they didn't want me. Why don't they want me? I don't know. So I had to show them. Yeah. Just be ready. I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying when it happens, don't come crying to me. Just saying.
Come on, it's not going to happen.
It shouldn't. Right? It sure shouldn't.
You know what is going to happen?
What's that?
That we're about to give away a pair of lift tickets to Sierra at Tahoe. Pull up, park, ski. Yep, it's that easy.
Wow.
At Sierra at Tahoe, Sactown Sports has teamed up with Sierra at Tahoe this winter, and all you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now. Jay's gotcha. Looking for caller number 2 to win a pair of lift tickets to experience Sierra at Tahoe this winter. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, visit SactownSports.com. 916-339-1140. Caller number 2. Caller dose. 916-339-1140. If you want to head up to Sierra at Tahoe, 2 lift tickets, a pair of lift tickets to get up there and ski, snowboard, do whatever it is you got to do. Jay's got you right now. Caller number 2, 916-339-1140. Whitey, you ever skied or snowboard before?
Yes. Just mostly cross-country skiing.
No mountains, huh? No Black Diamond?
Not really. I just noticed, though, you're really harvesting your Spanish vibe. You had tacos last night. You said color dos.
Yeah.
So you really got that going.
That's true. That's true. I had shrimp and chicken tacos last night. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Chris, you said you had been skiing or snowboarding before?
I went skiing once. It was maybe like 3 years ago, and it was probably the worst day I've had in a really long time. It was not fun. The equipment is very uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's just not built for me. There's certain things that are built for certain people, and skiing is not built for me. Let me tell you. I tried to stop. I tried to do the pizza French fry thing.
You skied.
The rules did not apply for me.
Yeah, you skied.
Yeah, and it was, it was like the nastiest day possible. It was kind of like a day like tonight, except a lot more wind and some snow just throwing all
raining.
It's drizzly. It's just drizzly.
I was snowboarding. I don't know if you played SSX Tricky or any of the snowboard games, 1080, but that was my time, and I was big on snowboarding. I wanted to be great at snowboarding. And I was just big on the X Games. Yeah. When the X Games first came to San Francisco, I went. So I have 2 quick stories for you. The first one was snowboarding. And I don't know if you've ever watched, the shows where people fall and things like that. Well, I was snowboarding and I fell.
America's Funniest Home Videos?
Well, yeah, the one with Rob Dyrdek.
Oh,
ridiculousness. And they call it the scorpion. And I scorpioned where I fell forward, and I'm not this flexible now, but the board came above my head and hit me in the head. And then I went again, and I wore a helmet this time.
Yeah.
I didn't have a helmet on the last time. Then I went one more time with my buddy.
There's no video of that, is there?
No.
Can we get that, please? Yeah.
Then I went one more time. With my buddy, maybe when I was early college, and that was the last time I went. And now with my Achilles, I don't know if I'll ever go back. And then when the X Games came to San Francisco. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been the first X Games. And I was really big. I played, inline hockey, okay? And I was really big on hockey ever since I watched the Mighty Ducks. So I took my inline skates. I didn't even have the proper skates. And for those, talk about a 90s movie back in the day, Airborne. If you ever seen Airborne, give me a shout out on the Sac Chat or the text line as well. But Whitey, I get up there, and this is how, I'm a fearless guy. So I get up there. I think I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I get up on the half pipe in my inline hockey skates, okay? I've never been on a half pipe before. I have no clue what to do. And there are a bunch of kids. This is like a big deal. I go down the half pipe, face plant right at the bottom, and just skate away. And never went on a half pipe again. And never tried to skate again in that capacity.
Great story.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Chris, you ever skateboarded or anything? Lords of Dogtown?
Longboarded a little bit, but nothing. Right. No good stories.
Can you ollie?
Or anything. I definitely cannot ollie. Can't do anything. I can barely kick push. So that's about the extent of my my shredding.
Yeah. Well, I hope that the Kings do shred the Pistons tonight.
What about both these, right? I mean, really.
Well, I was going to say, what about the back-to-back?
Next two games,
Or yes, you do.
It's like something's wrong.
Yeah, I want complete blowouts here. There's no reason. I mean, especially like with the Hornets on the other side. I mean, if you lose to the Hornets twice in a season, that's just a terrible sign. It's horrible. I mean, you got to take advantage of these teams, especially when you have the Sixers, you have the Bucks, you have the Suns on the other end of this thing. The Western Conference is so tight. I mean, if the Kings do, let's say they go 2-3 and they win these two easy ones, but lose the next three, I mean, they could. I mean, we were joking about it yesterday, but they could be in the play-in tournament real soon here if things don't turn around. So
yeah. Pardon me, Chris. I'm sorry. Jay and I were kicking around yesterday the idea that maybe last year the Kings overachieved, and I don't know, maybe they did, but according to some of the numbers, you look at the point differential, the Kings this year are overachieving because based on the differential, and I know that's not a be-all, end-all, but they should be like 17 and 18. So if they are overachieving, that's okay as long as you right the ship. It's like, woo! Dodged a bullet, but you got 15 and 19 on the road coming up here. So
we're going to kind of find
out where this thing is, against the backdrop of them also trying to make a deal. It's a really little bit of a nervous time, but a very exciting time.
Yeah. The other way to look at this is that they've been playing with fire a decent bit. I don't think it means that they've been lucky. I think that they definitely have been playing with fire. When you look at the Hawks game, I would consider that playing with fire. I know the Magic was a great game, but I would consider that playing with fire in a way as well. And, I don't want to, we're not saying we can read or we're trying to read Coach Mike Brown's mind, Whitey, but the way that he's speaking in some of these post-game pressers and even pre-game pressers, it's starting to feel like he's not talking to anybody in that room and he's not necessarily talking to the team. It feels like he's talking to upper management, and it feels like he's talking to Monty McNair with some of the things that he's saying when it's just about our game plan is pretty solid and what we want to do is pretty solid. I can't help effort and I can't help guys not executing what we want.
Well, he also said yesterday, and we talked about this yesterday, but he said after the last game, if we think that we should just be an offensive team, and there is some of that thought that we should try to be just a team that outscores people. There is some of that thought amongst us. You're going to be in for a rude awakening in this league. So who's he talking to there? He's certainly not talking to the players. I mean, he said that. We know that Sam Amick reported the Kings feel like the defense is okay. They want to add shooting. So when Mike Brown said that, I was like, well, that's interesting. There is some of that thought amongst us. And if you think that, you're in for a rude awakening.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what he said.
Man, oh, man. Well, they're running out of time. So I'm looking again. We are under a month.
Officially,
for the trade deadline, and we are at about 5 seconds here for the rest of Chris and I's show. Nicely done, Whitey. You have Whitey and Jay.
Nope. Kyle's going to join us from Detroit.
From
for a half-hour
Detroit.
extravaganza.
There you go. So you have Whitey Gleason and Kyle Gray for the drive, guys, getting you ready for the Kings and for the Pistons. Thank you for Jay Johnson for holding it down for us. Stiles and Watkins. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, secure the bag, light the beam.
The Sacramento Kings begin their 5-game road trip tonight in Detroit.